And there we are. So, good Monday evening, everybody. It's glad to see you all here joining us for another fine discourse and discussion and meeting of the friends here at Carnivore Talk. So, we look forward to interacting with you in the chat and especially on screen if you are so willing. All you have to do is click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat or bottom of the chat, depending on the device you're using over there on YouTube. And if you're joining me from Facebook, I'm going to paste that link in there right now. And if you're watching from Rumble, you'll have to just come on over here and find the link to click on, because unfortunately it doesn't interact that well with Rumble. But we're glad to have you here watching as it is. So it is post-holiday, at least for those of us over here in the United States. And so we're going to talk about the possibility that some of you, or maybe I, slipped up a little bit on carnivore and why that's not the end of the world and how to get back on track fast, because we've all been there. It could be a barbecue. It could be a flight delay. It could just be a stressful day at work and boom, you're off plan. The guilt kicks in and it's tempting to say, screw it for the weekend or for the week or for the rest of the month of July. And we don't want to do any of that. Tonight, we're going to talk about why it's not the end of the world. That's just a blip on the radar. That's just data. And we're going to talk about forgiveness, resilience, and real strategies to jump right back in on track. So that's what we're here to encourage you and everyone listening to continue the fine fight when it comes to carnivore, ketovore, keto, animal-based paleo, or whatever avenue you are pursuing to try and better your health. You are all welcome here, and you're all welcome on the screen too to talk about it. So welcome everybody. We're going to say hi to Jeff. How are things going down in the fine Lone Star State?
Hot, toasty, and wonderful.
All right.
I just want to say that anybody that cheated, y'all are just a bunch of backsliding heathens. You need to be beat with a wet noodle. But no judging. I'm not judging. No, it's one of those things that happens. For those that do, forget the mistake. Remember the lesson, especially if it affects you. If it tears you up, if it bothers you, physically, that's all the more incentive to be good the next time. Because we're in this for the long haul. We're in this for our health. And, why do we want to keep sabotaging our health? We've already had the bad health. Once you're healed from that bad health, why would you want to go back? Be good. Nothing tastes as good as how I feel.
Absolutely. And we also just want to convey the message that, one off-plan meal by itself isn't going to sabotage your health. Okay. It's a pattern that we don't want to go back to. So you've worked so hard to get off the standard American diet and to basically transform your thinking, transform your diet so that now this has become a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And so, if something happens, that's why I say it's just a blip on the radar. That doesn't change who you are as a ketovore or a carnivore. It doesn't change your lifestyle. You go back to being that very thing. All right.
Yeah, it's not that you're not a carnivore anymore. So you deviated a little bit. So what? I've said it before. I've seen herbivore animals eat meat. That doesn't mean they're not herbivore. Nobody classifies them as anything but herbivores, even though once in a while they eat meat. So just because we eat something outside of meat ourselves doesn't define us as less than a carnivore. Nobody says that a cat, a tiger, or anything like that is less than a carnivore, but I have seen cats eat grass. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's silly to be too dogmatic about all that stuff. But the thing is, yeah, it doesn't set you back, but depending on what it is you ate and how addictive you are to the food that you eat, it could be a struggle getting back on track. And that's where you need the community. That's where you need the help, and that's where you need us to support you. Because if you've got a bad sugar addiction and you went and had some ice cream, or handful of M&Ms, or whatever, somebody made a great pie or cake, for the cookout yesterday, and you had some. Me personally, I'd be scared to eat it because the sugar cravings, I'm afraid, would come roaring back, and I don't want them, personally. So that's the thing that could get you into trouble right there.
Yeah. So, and if you did venture off track, some people, when we talk about guilt, that actually is that guilt that gives them the struggle to get back on track too. Sometimes if you feel overly guilty or overly sad, perfectionism often leads to bigger binges. But if you have a little bit of self-compassion, then you're able to have better long-term adherence. So yesterday was a social, or this weekend, when was it? No, it was 2 days ago now. So, for many, it was a social event, and, meeting together with the family or whatnot. And so the pressure might've been on, and maybe you ate a little bit off plan. It's not the end of the world. It's just get right back on plan and continue going. Now, Jeff mentioned some, the possibility that roaring cravings may come back now, and that's a possibility. Fortunately, that does not happen for me. Okay. But I also don't go way off plan either. So I went to Hocking Hills over the weekend, and I may share some photos and videos that I took from the trip. It was really beautiful. Huge rock formations, waterfalls. It's just an area here in middle to southern Ohio that kind of borders the Appalachian Mountain Range. So you get to go on some nature hikes and whatnot. But we were with a group, and by and large, we're all meat eaters. So I mean, they're not carnivores, but they are definitely big into eating meat. We love to grill. We love bacon. And the first night we made chicken and sausage and brats, and then and a lot of them too. So that way, over the course of the weekend, if we were hungry, we could tap into those. Friday night we had steak and shrimp, and then for breakfast both days we had eggs, bacon, sausage. The second day, one of the families, they made these amazing omelets for everybody. And then on the last day, we made smash burgers on the grill. Now, my wife did bring a bunch of fruit to make a fruit salad. And so I had a little bit of fruit salad here and there each day. And I also had a tasty adult beverage. So I was enjoying my time for the weekend, but now we're back, and we're back to normal. And it'll probably be the last time that I touch any of those things for at least several weeks, if not longer. All right. So I don't get those rushed cravings, though. Of course, I didn't have anything like, I didn't have cake. I didn't have cookies. I didn't have what I would consider standard American junk food. I actually stayed true to my principles, and that was to eat only what's natural, found in nature. I was still able to do that. And I was still 95% carnivore over the entire trip. So, but if you do have those cravings that Jeff mentioned, some of the key is eat a ribeye. You want to fill up on something fatty. You want to maybe take some electrolytes, and you got to power through it. The cravings are probably only going to last that day, maybe the subsequent day. But if you get right back on track, they're going to go away fast. And so just bear with it. So, and our heat wave is over. So it was 99 degrees all 3 days. And then some rain came in last night, and today was a little bit on the chill side. So our heat wave is done.
Yeah, what y'all call a heat wave, we call summer.
Yeah, we had about 5 days in a row in the mid to upper 90s. The heat indexes, in the winter, they always talk about the wind chill. Like, it could be 20 degrees, but they'll be like, it feels like -5 because of course they got to make it sound more dramatic. And then in the summer, it's the other way. It's 99, but the heat index, it feels
Yeah.
like 110 on your skin.
Right. Right.
It's just
Yeah.
it's not good enough to say 99.
So we spent most of the day today. We're building a roping arena, and we got the ground all plowed up. Been really working it good and clearing all the rocks and everything out. And it's got a bit of a slope to it, so we're adding some railroad ties to control runoff, so we don't lose too much dirt out of it. And I don't know what a railroad tie weighs, but they ain't light. And me and my wife, me 70 and her 65, we've been humping them railroad ties all day in the Texas heat. And I got to admit, we probably moved about 15 of them or 17 of them, something like that. Got them put into place, using chains and straps and picking them up and putting them in place and getting them lined up the way we want them because we're enclosing the arena. And we got down to about 3 left, and I said, I'm done. I got to get some electrolytes. I hadn't had nothing to eat yet, and I said, Mama, I'm done. I got to get some water, and I got to get some electrolytes in me. When you start bending over and standing up and things start closing in on you, in my case, I know that's a sign that my blood pressure has dropped, and it's time for me to get some electrolytes in me. But, took about a 20-minute break, got some electrolytes, plenty of water, went back out there, finished up the job. Then I spent the rest of the afternoon working on a front gate I'm installing, a gate opener I'm installing, and then the last hour and a half before I come on here working on my motorcycle. I've been out in this heat all day, but I love it. I love it. I couldn't live where you live.
This last week, I loved it. I never complain about the heat. I don't care how hot it gets because I do complain about the cold. So I'll take 99 over 9 any day.
Same. Yep.
All right, let's go say hi to some folks in the chat here. First prize actually goes to Uncle Charlie this week at 7:31. How are you guys doing? I did not slip up Saturday. I ate 6 cheeseburgers and 12 spare ribs. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So on Saturday, that's the day we had the smash burgers, and I never made a smash burger before. You literally just smash. You make like these 1.5 ounce balls. They put onion on them and then smashed it as flat as you could possibly make them. So they were very, very flat, thin burgers. They cooked real fast, and I didn't have any buns, so I made a bunch of them, and I think I calculated it to where I ate a pound. I ate a pound of meat all by myself because I didn't have any sides or anything else. But it was a pound of beef plus the cheese slices, and they were delicious. And I actually put a little jalapeno on mine too, and give them a little kick. So that's what I had. So I ate burgers as well. Sandy says, good evening, gentlemen, and so does Holly. And we got Brian Dish is in the house saying hi to everyone here. And Kurt is popped in, said he'll pop back in again when he's on his lunch break. He's at work. So it's good to see you, Kurt. Kurt was recently interviewed with Rick. So you got to go over to Rick's channel to see that video. And we got Tom in the house. Hey, Tom, why don't you come pop on the screen and say hello? Linda from Michigan is here, and Frank Calabrese, and here's Marla Kelly, and Brisket Boomers from Maine. It's good to see all of you here today. Let's see here. Give some thought to joining us on screen. Just got to click that StreamYard link. We got room for 10, and it's a lot of fun when you get on and talk face-to-face. Steadfast, good evening. Good to see you here. And Uncle Charlie says, this is why I weigh myself every morning and look in the mirror every day. So I do the same thing. of course, over the weekend I didn't get to weigh myself, but last week when it was 99, when it's hot and humid, my appetite goes away. So I actually did a lot of less eating last week, and I had gotten down under 175. It was 174.9 Thursday morning. And then I did return this morning. I stepped on the scale and I was 177.9. So I got 3 pounds back on. But that could be water weight too. My weight can vary like that from day to day. So I could be 175 one day, I could be 179 the next day, and then I could be back to 175 the next day. Because of my kidney and my water retention, my weight oscillates pretty drastically from day to day. And but I weigh myself every day too. I know they tell you not to, but I do. So all right. So we got Tom here, Frank Calabrese. Let's see here. I eat for nutrients, not entertainment. That's a good way to put it. So, yeah, it was an interesting conversation. So, because my diet is a little odd in comparison to the company I was with, it was a topic for discussion a bit over the weekend. And some people live to eat. That's and true. Eating to the taste of food is one of life's great pleasures. It really is.
Remember those days?
Yeah, there's no denying it. I just got to this point in my life where it's like, okay, I got to rein that in, because what I'm choosing to put in my mouth is destroying my body. And so I want to not live to eat, but I want to eat to live. So I'm the same way. I eat for nutrition and not entertainment. If I eat for entertainment, I'd be right down there with the pizza and the cookies and everything. Sandy watched your treadmill video.
Well, thank you, Sandy. At least I have one fan.
Papa Carnivore says, "Good evening, fellas." Good evening, Papa Carnivore. You pop in and say hello too. You're more than invited. All of you are invited, by the way. Let's see here. A lot of haze and hellos. Saturday was at a barbecue pool party. Looking at some of these people kept me on track. Didn't even think of going off track.
There you go. Incentive.
That's true. I'll tell you. Not the company I was keeping, of course, but I know what you're talking about. I've gone to a public pool, or just out in public in general, or like let's take like a mall food court, for example. And you can just sit there and people watch, and I actually feel sad. I actually feel bad for people, that I see that they're in a condition that they're in, that could be reversed, could be avoided, could be helped, but then, you got the addiction, and you got big food companies, and you got the whole world of snacks and food and big pharma. None of them have your interest at heart, not your health. At least they have your wallet in their heart. That's what they're after. But I often feel bad when I sit back and people watch, and I know exactly what you're getting at here. It's the incentive to keep on track, but my heart goes out to people like that too. Let's see here. Some of these people didn't stop eating or drinking. One guy must have drank 10 beers. I counted 7. Yep. I know people that on the way home from work will pick up a 30-pack case and will polish it off before bed. Something else. Papa Carnivore is doing well. Just got home from work and had a big ribeye steak with a side of cold butter chunks. All right. And he's going to pop on here and tell us all about that tasty dinner. How's it going, Peter?
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, just enjoying another fine Monday night with friends. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How's it going, Jeff?
It's great, man. How are you?
Can't complain. I just had a ribeye.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's
How do you?
always a good day when you have a ribeye.
Yeah. Bone in or bone out?
Oh no, just no bone.
Okay.
They had them on sale for $7.99 at Winn-Dixie local supermarket near me. So man, I loaded up and they had it was your choice, New York strip or ribeye, $7.99. So I bought a couple trays of each, and
Mhm.
I would have bought more, but my freezer's freaking full,
That's a good deal. That's a good deal.
And then they
Yeah,
had a pork
we used to.
shoulder roast, Jeff, 89 cents a pound.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I bought one of those.
Yeah, we used to have a Winn-Dixie down here, but they got bought out, run out, whatever the deal was. But I really liked them. That was my go-to place to get meat.
Yeah, that's where I
Was
go. That's
Winn-Dixie.
my number one, by far my number one place now.
Yeah, there's a good outfit.
And if I lose Winn-Dixie, I'm in deep shit. Yeah.
That's just very cheap around here. Ribeyes are double that where I'm at. They're double that price at Sam's Club, where you're supposed to get them wholesale.
Well, I can go to Costco and get USDA choice. It's about double that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, your best deal at Costco is going to be just buy the whole rib roast.
Yeah.
Cut your own.
Yeah, I did that during the holidays. They had it was about the same, $7.99, $8.99, $9.99, right in there for a rib roast. I think it was $8.99 or $9.99, and I bought the whole roast and I cut it up, and then they give you the bones underneath, under the roast. Just cut those off.
Mm-hmm. How do you like to cook your steak?
Well, lately I've been just searing it on each side in my cast iron skillet and tallow with the center like really rare, rare. And I really enjoy that, kind of like the way Dr. Kiltz has been talking about.
Rare to the lean in the blue side.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say not really black and blue, but I would say very rare.
Well, I had a great one yesterday. We had a friend come over and we went down to this place in town called Home Leans. Absolutely wonderful food, and for a brunch. And the only thing they had on there that I'm willing to eat, they did have steak and eggs, so I ordered steak and eggs. And I know they're using premium beef, but the steak they brought me was a big filet, and that thing was almost fork tender and cooked perfectly, almost blue. It was. Wow. I mean, it was pretty much raw in the middle. It was.
I like it like that.
Oh yeah.
Especially filet. Filet is great like that.
I'll tell them. If I tell them rare, and they undercook it, I'm fine with that. It doesn't hurt my feelings none at all.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Thomas is trapped upstairs. They're redoing his floors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of floor covering are you getting?
Not me. It's I guess that would be down your alley, wouldn't it? My landlord is redoing the apartment floors.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no elevator. And unfortunately, I still have like loss of balance when it comes to going up and down the stairs. So
no, you have an elevator. You just can't use it right now.
The floors, like I can use it, but I can't leave the elevator when I get downstairs.
Right.
I can't walk on the floor. So, from upstairs, I can go inside and keep on traveling up and down, but that would be kind of like, if I was 6, maybe I'd have fun doing that, but I'm not going to do that now, but,
one of the comments, Thomas, because I know you're having the balance issues, especially going down the steps, right?
Yeah. Somebody said something about going down.
Sitting on your butt, and just going down on your butt.
The only problem with that is I can't get on the ground. I can't stoop on the ground.
Oh, okay.
I have a hard time doing that too. So I would have to, I would have to get on the ground, put my knees on the hard concrete, and crawl over, and it would just be very hard for me.
Yeah, that won't work.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to train my body to get back to getting balanced again and do, but
yeah.
You know, it'd be nice if I had like somebody that lived here in the apartment that would be willing to go, you know, like to help me train while to kind of keep me from falling, you know, and be able to go up and down the stairs with me.
So it's going to be 4 days instead of 2 now?
Yeah, it was supposed to be today and tomorrow, and then I got a note from my landlord, a text saying that they're also going to be doing Wednesday, and that the floors will still be wet on Thursday. So,
Wow. Do you have enough food to last 4 days?
What was that?
Do you have enough food to last you?
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine with food. And 2 of the days I'm fasting, so it really doesn't, you know, because I'm doing the alternate day fast.
Oh,
So I just got done my second round of fasting. I fasted on Saturday. I ate on Sunday, so I fasted today. So I'll fast again on Wednesday.
oh, I forgot to mention. You know, do you guys know Mike, the ground beef chief? Ground beef chief, Mike. You guys got to go to. He's amazing. So this guy was like 600 or 700 pounds, kind of like Bill Knott. Okay, and he's a long haul trucker. That's what he does, right? And he got so heavy he couldn't drive his truck no more, you know. And he went carnivore. I don't know how long. Maybe it's been a year or so. Well, he met a woman, and they just got married, and she's carnivore too. And he moved down to Florida from somewhere in the Midwest, I think Ohio, and he moved down to like Tampa, and married. They got married. She's got a couple little kids, like single mom, and it's a real heartwarming story. Well, his channel's called. You guys got to definitely subscribe. It's called it's called the Ground Beef Chief. Okay, his wife has a channel now. She's the Ground Beef Chieftess. Okay, her name's Tasha.
Sorry.
Well, Tasha was they did a video. It was only a 6-minute video that she was rushed to the emergency room. Listen to this. She's like anemic. She's low on iron, right? And he got worried because her poops got like really terrible, almost looked like dark and like muddy, like that kind of thing. Turns out she's been taking this iron supplement, probably some crap, you know. So the doctor said stop taking it. As soon as she stopped taking the iron supplement, her poops are fine. So you got to be careful with these supplements.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's true.
Yeah.
I found those channels, Ground Beef Chief, and I'm going to paste that in the chat. I have never heard of these.
He's a really great guy. He's lost. I think he's lost like 200 pounds already.
Yeah, he was a big guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a big guy,
Ground beef
compared to.
Yeah, he's down from 700 down to about 500. But this guy's a big dude. He's probably 6'6", easy.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
I posted both of those links in the chat for anyone that's interested.
I actually wrote him to be on my channel, so yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All right, very good. We got 49 watching. If you could click that like button, that would help us get out in front of more eyeballs and get more people in here to hear this fine message about carnivore and how to get back on track. That's our theme for tonight. Up here earlier, we had... I thought I had another Papa Carnivore comment. He was talking about, I didn't have any alcohol over the holidays. I'm proud of myself for that.
Yeah, nothing.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did.
You know, I just don't really, I don't know. I feel better without it. I'd rather have a sparkling water with maybe a little twist of lime, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah, and that's what I got. I got sparkling water with a little bit of alcohol in it. You know, because I just don't do beer, and sometimes I do liquor. I did actually. I brought some bourbon, but I never opened it. So, but I did go out once we got down there. I went out and got these little, just like bubbly water, but it's got a little bit of vodka in it. They're called Carb Bliss, and as a play
they have
Carb
Bliss,
Carb Bliss.
They have stuff called like White Claw.
White Claws, very similar. So I picked up one of those. I think it was Might have been an 8-pack, lasted me all 3 days.
And then there's another
I'm
one.
not a big drinker, so
Yeah, and there's another one that I do like if I'm going to drink. It's called High Noon.
mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I've just been so fortunate that I mean, it wasn't a struggle for me. I just lost my taste for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't know if it's carnivore, my body just cleaning itself up, and just doesn't desire it anymore, or if it's the Holy Spirit coming upon me and saying, "Hey, I'm going to just take this away from you." I just don't know what the deal is, but I'll give God the glory. But I just don't have any desire for it, and you're really free of it when you're down on Bourbon Street in New Orleans with a bunch of your biker buddies, and they're all drinking and getting drunk, and you just have no desire for it anymore. You're just like, yeah, don't want it. No thanks. I'll just stick with my water. So
What do they say? What do they say when they see that?
Oh, I had a buddy of mine. He's like, man, if I'd have known you was sober, I'd never invited you on down. I said, brother, somebody's got to ride herd on your drunk butt. So it's a good thing I'm here, because otherwise you wouldn't make it home tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I just occasionally social drink. We go out for open mic or karaoke. I might have one, more times not. But this was a special event. And like I said, on special events, that's when I might, deviate just a little bit. So that's what I had over the weekend. I had a little bit of fruit salad that my wife made, and I had a little bit of the carbless tasty adult beverages. So
yeah.
All right. Uncle Charlie says no need to ever eat candy, cake, cookies, or ice cream. Now I agree with that. So I am anti-processed food unless it's Kiltz's ice cream. If it's just heavy cream, that's fine. But the commercial ice cream down on the shelves or at a Dairy Queen is definitely something I will avoid like the plague. But Kiltz's ice cream is pretty good because you can control what goes in it, and it's 100%. You can make it 100% carnivore.
Mm-hmm.
Running tap. It's so funny seeing everybody in the United States being hot, whereas I'm in Australia where it's cold. It is the dead of winter in Australia. Yes. So it's our hottest month of the year here. It's your coldest month of the year down there.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. This is an interesting comment. Latro says, I'm finding some low-carb red wine drives my glucose down. Seeing some results on the CGM without insulin. So that's interesting. So I would think that it would have a neutral effect, but to drive it down, I think that's pretty interesting. And Uncle Charlie says, I sit in my cold plunge every day, 40-degree water, 3 to 4 minutes a day. No, thank you.
No thanks. No thanks for that. He can have all that he wants.
Yep.
Sounds like a chilling experience.
It does, yeah. I can't even get in my pool if it's less than 80 degrees. So,
yeah.
Whew,
I know what you mean.
Plunges for me. All right. Jason just got back from a New York trip, was staying good, but slipped up the last few days. Here's his confession. Upstate New York hole-in-the-wall pizza joint. Had one of the best stromboli calzones in my life. Back on track today, back in California. So that's okay. Just a blip on the radar. No big deal. You just don't want to turn those things into habits. That's all.
Exactly.
So
the trick is just getting back on plan as soon as you can.
Right.
Ideally, as soon as you get back home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or I always say the very next meal, because as we talked about in the introduction, some people, they're like, you know what? Screw it. I'll start again Monday. I'll start again next week. No, wrong thinking. You start again now. So you had a slice of pizza. It's not going to kill you. It's not the end of the world. But your very next meal, you're back to being carnivore. So don't ever let that get in your head, and don't ever tell yourself, because a lot of people do this when they're still addicted. They give themselves a license to splurge the rest of the day. Well, I already blew it at 11. So I'm going to spend the next 12 hours pigging out on anything I can because I'm starting fresh tomorrow. That'll just burn you every single time.
The other big one, Bob, is people go, oh, well, I just went and had a big workout, so I can have that whatever.
Yeah, that's another deceiving yourself with bad reasoning.
Yeah.
That's true. And if you and we don't count calories, and at least most of us don't. I mean, some of us still do, and there's nothing really wrong with it. But if you're that kind of person that does, get on the treadmill for an hour at Planet Fitness and run, and you'll like sweat to death over an hour, and you'll look down at the machine and it'll be like, you burned 100 calories. You're like, that's it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. I'd love to know how accurate them counters are. But there's a guy on YouTube. I've seen him several times. This old boy likes to run, which, to each their own. I never cared much for running myself, even when I could run. But this old boy will sit there and eat something tremendously high in calories. Like he ate one of these huge 5-pound gummy bears one time, and I forget how many calories that is. And then he goes out and he runs, and he will run until he runs those calories off. And he generally averages over 30 miles. So if you think you can exercise off them calories you ate, you better get ready for a 30-mile run or better.
Yeah, but you know what? They say that overdoing it like that is not really good for you long term. Puts a lot of stress on your joints. It drives up your cortisol. I'd say you just go out and do work like you do on the farm, Jeff, or do whatever. Rick does stuff. Yeah, I mean, I do lots of walking at work. At the furniture store. I probably do 15, 20,000 steps a day. I don't think you have to do like 30, 10, 20, 30 mile runs and all
you're
this.
Right.
I don't know that you need to do all that.
That's the fallacy of the whole thing. What this guy is showing, he's very athletic, very, very strong individual. He's just showing that you can't outrun a bad diet.
Yeah.
Unless you can run over 30 miles every time you cheat, you better off eating a proper diet.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm sure his idea of a proper diet is different to ours. He's not a carnivore, but
right,
to my knowledge, but it just goes to show you, there's people that think, like it was said, they can go to the gym, they can work out, they can get on the treadmill, whatever, and they can work off these calories. I'm sorry, you can't. The old saying, and it was already said here, you cannot outrun a bad diet. Can't be done.
I remember when I was younger, I remember hitting the gym and trying really hard and doing those ellipticals and treadmills and running and all that stuff and lifting weights but then I'd go home and I would, eat the crap, you know what I mean? And you'd be like, oh, I could have whatever I wanted
or eat the crap and then go work out thinking you can
and,
work it off.
It was like you were just treading water.
Yeah.
In fact, I got fatter.
When I work out, like on the treadmill, elliptical, stair climber, whatever I do, my whole deal is I ain't trying to burn nothing up. I'm trying, one, to get my blood flowing because that's my warm up before I start lifting.
Right.
That's first and foremost. Two, I'm trying to get a little cardio in, get my blood up, get my blood flowing, and help prevent blood clots in my legs.
Right. How is that going lately?
Yeah, so far so good.
All right, that's good.
I've got I think next week I've got a CT scan where they're going to check my lungs out and see if all the blood clots are dissolved, which I'm sure they are. I haven't had any issues or any problems, and they've got me on for now. They've got me on a blood thinner, and we'll evaluate later on, down the road.
What do they have you on? Coumadin or warfarin or?
No, not warfarin. I'm not taking any of the rat poison. No, I forget the name of it, but it's all I know is it's expensive as all get out. But hopefully I won't have to be on it much longer. And in the meantime, I'm also, even though it's high in oxalates, thanks to our guest last week for informing me on this. I was better off ignorant. but I am taking cacao to just organic cacao to help keep my veins expanded and open, to help prevent blood clots.
What about a baby aspirin?
Okay, I asked my oncologist about that, and he said aspirin does not thin the blood. I'm going to do more research on that, and I'm going to talk to my PCP about that, and because I'd rather just do that. Kurt, I know your time is short, so you got the floor, brother.
Yes.
I don't have the floor. I come in, pop in to see who's here. So
All right. Well, we know your time is short, so we want to give you your chance to speak your mind.
no, you don't. You don't.
Maybe not. Okay.
Well, we've been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly. No, just back to work and in the groove, and that's about it.
All right.
How's
Very
eating
good.
going? You haven't posted any scale videos. Yeah, look at them trucks coming in.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, that's about it, man. Just keeping myself busy.
How's the eating going?
Well, I think I got some of the poison out of the house for now.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm back to 12 eggs a day, maybe 18.
Mhm.
So yeah, how is everybody's 250th anniversary?
It was great.
That was great for me.
I was in Hocking Hills. I didn't see any fireworks at all because I was in the middle of nowhere.
Really?
Yeah. You could hear them in the distance. I think the nearest city was, I don't know how many miles away, but you could look over towards the mountain and you could tell that there was things blowing up on the other side of it because the sky would light up, but that was about it. So I was back at my cabin. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, we get on my son's boat. We go out on Lake Granbury and we watch. There's always big fireworks display, and a lot of the rich folks that live on the lake, they're popping off some good stuff, and so we always do that every year. Down here where I'm at, it's farm country, and you won't see much fireworks down around here because one good sparkler could burn the whole countryside down.
Wow. Wow.
So nobody wants to see any fireworks, in our area.
I hear you. What about you, Tom? Is that Thomas?
What was that?
I said, did you enjoy the fireworks?
No, I'm not really much of a firework person. Living here by the beach, I see them every day, all the time, where I lived in the boardwalk and stuff. So you've seen one, you've seen them all, type thing.
I don't have that option. If I had my choice, I would have stayed home. But the wife drug me over to the friends, and the kids had to burn up about $600 worth of money in fireworks.
Okay.
I got better things to do with $600.
Yeah, the only time I ever saw really good fireworks was when I was at Disney World and they had them there. Because here it's mostly noise. It's just like loud banging,
Gotcha. What about you, Papa?
I watched the big fireworks display on TV in Washington, and there was some kind of record, I guess.
Wow. I watched this video on YouTube. This good old boy, he was out in his backyard and he had some crazy fireworks. I don't know. He was a good old Southern boy, and he had his friends lighting them off, and it was just crazy. I think
down here in Florida, man, they light off tons of fireworks, man.
I know up here in Kent, which is my neighboring town, they usually have their Kent Heritage Fest on Friday night, but Friday, and Cedar Point does it also, but with Northern Ohio had a series of thunderstorms, so a lot of cities actually their fireworks displays got canceled due to the storms. So they're looking to reschedule and try and attach them to another event before the before the summer's over.
Oh,
Oh man, I've been humping tonight. I got about 7,000 steps in. I'm not going to reach my goal of 14,000, but good enough.
Very nice. There was someone in here who was saying, the running tap says, "Wow, Kurt, I can't handle more than 2 eggs at a time."
I
I
tell
can
you,
hold down some eggs.
all I do is I put salt in there, mix it up, and soft scramble them, and they are delicious. I can't get enough.
I think the most I've done in one sitting was 8. And then Sunday we went to a restaurant and I got a breakfast and I added extra eggs to it. So it ended up being like 5 eggs along with the breakfast meats and a scramble. So yeah, I love eggs.
The most I've done is 12 at work, and then I got home and I ate 9 more.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody, I'm just curious, Bob, Jeff, have you caught my interview yet?
I haven't, because I just got back from my vacation, and went back to work this morning, so I haven't had an opportunity to. So
I've been trying to make a point of it. I've got it bookmarked, but I've just been so busy I can't keep up with my YouTube videos right now.
Yeah,
I watched.
But I'm going to get to it.
I watched the whole thing.
Thank you.
It was
Yeah.
really good. It was really good. I mean, there was moments there where, man, I was choked up, man. I was crying. You know, I thought I couldn't believe it. I mean, what you've been through, Kurt, is amazing. That you came out, and you know, it's amazing.
I attribute my demeanor right now to the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
Before I started the carnivore diet, I was miserable, cranky. I was crankier than I am now. So,
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I knew him in the beginning. He ain't lying.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said I knew him in the beginning. He ain't lying.
Well, I can tell you, I have a lot of carnivore calm too. You know, that I'm sure all you guys experience that calm, you know.
Yep.
You get a lot of energy. It's weird because you get a lot of physical, you know, you feel energy, but your mind is calm. It's a weird deal.
I'll be able to watch it probably Tuesday or Wednesday evening. That'll be my next available free time.
I'm gonna make it a point to watch it tomorrow.
You'll enjoy
about
it.
the interview with you and Rick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't
Yeah.
caught it, Tom?
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I plan on it, you know.
It's different because we didn't do a video. Rick did, but I didn't. We did it old analog style over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's normally his style.
And what's cool about it is Rick is wearing a suit and tie,
Okay.
which is really weird. I was like, what's this all about? It's like weird.
Yeah, he was really dapper.
I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Well, or should I say listen to it?
That's a good point. If it's a telephone interview, I could listen to it while I'm on the road traveling around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just audio. It's just audio. Well, I mean, you can see Rick.
as nice as I'm sure Rick looked, who cares if he's wearing
Yeah.
a suit, you know?
I
Yeah.
gotta when I get a chance to, Bob, I might send you the file somehow, but I need to edit some personal information out before I post it, and I'm not good at that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's that I think you heard it. I uploaded it and I gave you the link, and you listen to it with my cardiologist.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay, yeah. I'll see if I can find it. I don't know what I did with it, but anyways, bleep out some personal information. It's within the first 10, 15 minutes. But
I can edit it for you if you need me to.
Yeah,
Just tell me what to take out.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, knock on wood, I've never been to a cardiologist.
you don't want
Knock
to.
on wood.
Doctors are no fun.
Yeah, I hate them.
So what's the topic of tonight's live
the topic of tonight is if you slipped up over the holiday weekend, it's not the end of the world. Here are your tips to get back on track fast. That's the topic for tonight. So because we just had a 4th of July celebration where many people get together with family,
And sometimes slip.
and they may have had something with the sugary barbecue sauce on it. They may have had, I know we've got a lot of strong stalwarts on the screen right now, but the truth is most of us are human, and there's a lot of our carnivore brothers and sisters out there who probably had a little blip on the 4th, and maybe they're feeling guilty. And so we're just here to reassure them that there's no need, as long as they get back on track. So just don't let one little slip, just a blip on the radar. Don't let that derail you. So that's the whole theme, is to encourage people to not beat themselves up, but to get back on the horse and keep going.
I know it for me, since my in-laws left, it's been troublesome because my wife's been buying this Indian snack lately, and it's spicy, but it's all made from rice flour,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been munching on that. But I'm gonna get. I don't want to say dogmatic, but I want to get back to where I was very clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
But you can go in steps, Kurt. I mean, you're eating all those eggs again. You're headed in the right direction. That's okay.
Well, I think, been on eggs since May,
Yeah.
and I'm just hankering for some beef.
Well, why can't you eat some beef?
Well, I've got a goal. I want to see how long it takes for those eggs to give me a heart attack,
Oh, okay.
and if I can eat them all the way through summer without one touch of beef or chicken. Now I admit I had some of the sausages that Old Guy Carnivore had done a video on, and I tell you what, those are delicious. They're clean, but they're delicious. They're addictive.
I bought the waffle iron, not the circle one, the one that makes squares. Like Gary got the same one that makes squares.
Right.
It's called Pace. I think the brand is Pace. EAC, I think. But it's on Amazon. It was like $40, but I haven't used it yet. But I'm going to use it to make the chaffles that Mitch made. He makes just scrambled eggs essentially, and pours it in the mold, and then just sprinkles some cheese in there, and he makes like a bun for the hot dog or whatever,
Okay.
the sausage. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I'm going to try that.
Now, for those that don't want or need the dairy in their diet, instead of using cheese, use pork rind panko.
Oh, right. Yeah. I have some of that too.
I've been doing that for years now.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Missouri Carnivore just put out a video today on that very thing.
Oh.
Rockin' Coach Amy says, great interview, Kurt. She saw it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kurt, question real quick. Just popped into my head.
Yep.
You spell your name with a C or a K?
However, whatever is your preference.
Oh, stop it. Tell me how you spell your name.
I used to be really dogmatic about that, and it doesn't. As long as it all spells the same. It sounds the same, so it doesn't matter.
Well, it's not like you got a name like mine that people can't even pronounce,
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It used to bother me. There are people that if you don't spell their name right, they get dogmatic about it.
I get it. I tell people spell my name however they can read it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just have to have it legal on legal paperwork. It has to be right.
Right.
Jonathan's like that. He gets really upset if people spell his name
I was
wrong.
just thinking that, Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, he got me in trouble in school, in high school,
really?
with an English teacher. when she mispronounced my name, I refused to answer roll.
What would
And
she say?
Well, I went a week without answering roll. She says, anybody here?
No. How did she pronounce your name? I mean,
Joffrey.
Oh, Joffrey. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Joffrey.
And she and not only my first name, but my last name. My name is Jeffrey Klein. And she was saying Joffrey Clean.
Oh,
and
God.
So I just wouldn't answer up. I was a punk. I ain't gonna lie, I was a punk. I generally never could get through the first 2 weeks of the school year without paying a visit to the Dean of Boys, in his paddle, usually for fighting. And anyhow, yeah, she called roll all week, and all week I didn't answer up. And finally, on Friday, she says, has anybody here, have I called your name and you haven't answered up? I'm short one. And I said, yes, ma'am, you haven't called my name. And she says, well, what's your name? I said, Jeffrey Klein. She said, I've been calling you all week and marking you absent. I said, no, ma'am, you haven't called my name one time. And I said, you can calling somebody by the name of Godfrey Clean or Joffrey Clean. My name is Jeffrey Klein. She said, young man, I believe you have an attitude. And I said, I believe you don't know how to read.
You sound like
said,
me.
I think you need to go see Mr. Harris. So I said, yes, ma'am, gladly. And I got up and went and saw Mr. Harris, Dean of Boys, vice principal. He's the one to give out licks. And went in there and he says, that's the record, Jeff. 1 week. Usually it takes you a couple. What are you in here for this time? And I told him the story. And he says, Jeff, you got to understand your name with the English and the German spellings is going to be mispronounced. It's something you're going to have to learn to live with. I said, I understand that, sir. And I would give you that if we were dealing with a math teacher, but we're not. We're dealing with an English teacher. And are you going to tell me that you've got an English teacher that's never read the works of Geoffrey Chaucer in college? And Geoffrey Chaucer is who I'm named after. You going to tell me a great literary artist like that, and she hasn't read that? That's an English teacher.
Wow.
And he thought about it for a moment, and he says, I'm going to give you that one, but just this one time. Let's not do it again. And that teacher flat hated me the rest of the school year because I got over. Mr. Harris didn't burn me. And I'll tell you right now, I flunked that English class.
That's the same with my social studies teacher. She hated me. It was part of my interview. I came back from California, and California had to carry your book. I carried my books to every class because lockers were outside, separate, and it was like what do you call those? Not double wide duplexes, but they were top and bottom, 2-story. And I got tired of walking to 7 hours of classes, going to my locker the first couple of days. So I got a bag and I carried my books everywhere. So when I came back to Michigan, I did that. And after a while, the guidance counselor's wife accused me of dealing drugs. And she sent me down to the office. Her husband was a guidance counselor, and he's like, we're going to call your parents and we're going to call the police and we're going to have you empty your bag. I got mad. I unzipped my bag and dumped it all over his desk. And that's where I said, show me the effing drugs. Show me. And then I told him where he could stick his wife. I mean, I heard about it with my parents, but I said, I'm not going to take any crap off anybody. Nope. So you, Jeff, sound like me when we were in school.
Well, like I said, I was a punk.
Yep.
I didn't put up with nothing or nobody, and that's why I was always getting in trouble. Like I said, mostly it was for fighting. Somebody tried to bully me. I didn't put up with it. I'd throw down. But I never started nothing. I wasn't a bully myself, and I never started nothing. And I always stood up for the little guy. So I got in trouble, but in my little mind, I was justified in everything I did.
Yep. Well, gentlemen, my lunch is over. Lunch bell just rang, so I appreciate you having me and let me jaw.
All right. We're glad you were able to pop in and share some of that with us, Kurt. You have a great rest of your workday.
All
Have a
right.
good evening, Kurt.
I'm going to have the great rest of your week, and we'll see you around.
All right. See you around.
Bye.
I'll catch up on a few comments here. Uncle Charlie's, this is a good comment here. When I was a kid, I went to the gym every day and went home and ate everything in sight and said, why can't I lose the weight? Well, nobody said you can't outrun a bad diet. I don't care who you are. So that's true. I say that all the time. You can't out exercise a bad diet.
True. Yeah.
Coach Amy's here. As we know, Running Tap says, I dislike supplements. Yeah, I used to be a supplement junkie. I'm just down to like vitamin D and vitamin K. And
Yeah, that's all I really take too.
yeah, and occasionally electrolyte if I feel like I'm a little more prone to cramping. So Amy says, I'm with Papa with the sparkling water. I love sparkling water. Saratoga is my favorite. The flavored stuff, Polar, is pretty decent.
My favorite is Topo Chico in the big glass bottles.
You know what's interesting is I like Topo Chico in glass bottles, but I bought a 30-pack of Topo Chico in plastic bottles at Sam's.
Yeah.
I hate it. It tastes like plastic. It's terrible.
No, you got to do the glass.
Oh.
I'm telling you, it's completely different, man.
It is completely different. I was mind blown how different it was.
Yeah, I mean, because I even had Pellegrino in the plastic bottles that serve them at restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for it. I do taste like a plasticky, and also the bubbles are much smaller and finer in the Pellegrino, and I think I like a little bit more larger bubbles or whatever. I don't know. I just love the taste of Topo Chico, and like I said, I'll just cut a little piece of lime and squish some in there and push it in. Push the little wedge in the bottle and turn it upside down, and then, get that lemon juice just to give it a little bit of slight bit of flavor. It's not really, it's just a little lime wedge, just enough to get in the bottle. And, yeah, it's delicious, man.
Then Darth Carnivore said he posted his annual video on YouTube recently, re-giving the in-person talk about weight loss story at the invitation of local Taking Off Pounds Sensibly group. So I just posted the link to Darth Carnivore's channel so you can check that out. And while I'm thinking about it, we need to honor our guests here as well. So here is the link to Target Prime Ribs channel.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
I'll check him out.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom, you want to check this one out.
Yeah.
He's right up your alley. And now this one's, for some reason, I have a hard time searching it up on the search. Oh, but now it's coming up. Now it's coming up pretty easy. Geezy the Carnivore. Here's a link to his channel here.
Yeah, I think you have to look it up under my name.
You have to look up Jeff Klein.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Spell it right.
Doggone it. Here comes the link. All right. Amy says, I used to drink all those brands, White Claw, Truly, Carbless, High Noon, etc. I quit drinking a year ago today. I did have 2 drinks in Vegas at my nephew's wedding. Yeah. So, I'm not a regular drinker at all. I used to be. Back when I was on the standard American diet, I used to come home. First thing I do is crack open a beer, have a beer with dinner. I used to have a glass of bourbon right before I go to bed to help me go to sleep, and I did this on the daily. And then when I started my carnivore diet, I went probably a year and a half straight with no alcohol. So, and then now, like I said, I just have it on occasion, socially, once in a great while, actually. So, let's see here. Latro says, want a good bourbon, Bib and Tucker. If I have anything, it's low carb red wine now. So I like them all. Woodford Reserve, Maker's Mark, Angels and Envy, Jefferson's Ocean. So just one little shot here and there. And when I say here and there, I mean once a month or something. We go out for karaoke, and I might have one then. Uncle Charlie says, I lost my taste for it when I was 325 pounds and was in the hospital for 14 days. 7 were in the ICU. I'm good. Was that alcohol related? Out of curiosity. So, by the way, Uncle Charlie's now, I believe you said 180, and you got your A1C and all your blood labs back into the normal range now, thanks to your carnivore diet. So Uncle Charlie's totally turned his life around, by the way. Amy's quickly become the designated driver. Carnivore Cutler enjoys an occasional Heineken whenever he has the money. Latro says, if I need an Italian treat, I make a pizza with ground beef as the substrate. That's pretty good. I've heard people that do it with chicken. I think that's is that Rick's method too? Makes the crust out of chicken. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of these days, I might go to the trouble to try that.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not that hard either.
Yeah, someday I will too.
Well,
so.
Yeah, I watched a video where y'all did that as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I made it also too, like with the bread version I do, the carnivore bread version. So I make it both ways.
Thomas, are you still liking Steak and Butter Gang? I was thinking of joining back in.
Yeah, no, I like it. I just also like the other two groups too.
Not to put you on the spot. Oh, we lost Peter. All right.
So, did you get the email I sent you?
I did. Yes, I did respond to you.
No, you did. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
No. So I was coming across that, and I'm like, boy, I changed quite a bit since.
How long ago was that?
That was probably about 20 years.
Okay. Yeah. That I figured as much. That's why I don't know if you saw my comment, but
yeah, you said something about you look really young there.
You looked really young there. Yeah.
I was only in my 30s, probably.
Yeah. So. I've never been part of Steak and Butter Gang, so I don't know. I don't know what it's like behind that paywall. But I know it's a popular group. So
yeah, I don't know how long Jason's not been there, so I can't really say. It's changed a little bit. But
Darth Carnivore, which I put the link to his channel in the chat too. When I stopped having cheat meals, exercise no longer became punishment for a way to compensate for bad food choices.
Amen.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of punishment, that was another point that I had in my notes about if you do cheat, I would not recommend like, oh, I cheated, so I'm going to fast for the next 2 days as a form of punishment. Don't punish yourself for your bad choices. I mean, if a 1 meal a day or 2 meal a day or even a fasting day, if that's something that you can pull off and it makes you feel good and you want to do that for a reset, that's fine. But but don't be like, man, I had some of that pie at the 4th of July and so therefore I'm not gonna eat till Wednesday because I was a bad boy. No, don't think of yourself. Don't think of it negatively like that. Don't think of any of this. The only negative is it's a blip on the radar. Treat it as a learning experience. Jeff has said that many times in past episodes. It's a learning experience. Learn from it. Get up and move on.
Yeah, forget the mistake. Just remember the lesson.
Does anyone use MSG or nah? I don't have any bottles that say MSG on it. Monosodium glutamate. I couldn't even tell you what it is. I don't pay attention. I don't avoid it, and I don't go out of my way to get it.
It's used as a flavor enhancer, usually in Asian dishes.
I was going to say you get them at a lot of Chinese restaurants and stuff.
It's a lot of restaurants use it. It's one of those things. I don't run from it, but I don't use it. Mm-hmm. If it's in something that I'm eating, I'm not too worried about it because it's another one of those doses in the poison type deals. For me, it's no different than when I eat out. If they cook my food in seed oils, it doesn't affect me that I can tell. So it's not something I worry about. But if I was doing a recipe and it called for it, I probably wouldn't use it. I'm not going to go out and buy it.
Uncle Charlie says, if I didn't have this community, I would weigh 500 pounds.
Well, we're
Community-
glad you have this community, Charlie.
Yeah, no, and that it goes to show the importance of community. That's why
Yeah.
we're all here gathered together. All 42 of us currently. If you'd like
Well,
to,
and the whole community as a whole, you know, there's
yeah, the community's
hundreds of
huge.
thousands of
Community's
us.
thousands, hundreds of thousands.
and I would say 98% of it all is very supportive of each other. You know, there's just a few outliers that want to be dogmatic and pains.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to share something that my buddy Rodney sent me. Now, I don't know if he wrote this. If he did, it was clever. He did a good job. But it's called Carnivore Poem. I once was sick, but now no more. I found what works in carnivore. The beef, the lamb, and other meats, much better for me than all those sweets. I wish I'd found it sooner, but better late than never to heal my gut. And many thousands are doing the same since they heard the news about carnivore's fame. Former vegans and vegetarians are even doing it now, though they thought they'd never, ever eat a cow. God is so good to make our bodies to heal when we eat his good meats at every meal. Eggs and dairy too, if you can tolerate them, but in many people, they create a lot of phlegm. So find the best thing that works for you, and don't forget to tell others about carnivore too. Rodney. I thought that was pretty cute.
That is. Because he, knowing him, he may even have that set to a melody.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. That boy, why he's not a professional musician, it's beyond me. What up, Thomas?
Sorry to interrupt. I have to get going. So.
All right, buddy. Well, we're glad you dropped in.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later on.
All right. Have a good night, Tom.
Good night, sir. Yeah, he's tremendously talented guitar player. He'll send me stuff every once in a while, some praise songs that he's written and done.
Let's see here. I'm just going to star some comments here. Spanky asks, why do people vape? What does it do for you? They are finding us more dangerous in other ways than smoking cigs. I've never smoked or vaped, so I have no clue on it. Well, that's going to be the same thing as why do people eat junk food? Why do people smoke? Why do people drink? Why do some people do drugs?
Addiction.
Habits and addictions, and it's just one more thing that they're working on. Some people find comfort in it. I used to be a smoker. I smoked for 7 years from 1993 to 2000, and I was a happy smoker. I actually enjoyed it. It was a drug, and you could be very stressed out, and then taking that drug into you, it just kind of helped soothe the nerves and calmed you down. Yeah. At least you thought it did. At least I may have been deceiving because I was addicted. Some of that's mental, some of it's physical addiction to the chemical. And I know people that have quit smoking and they've actually used vaping to quit smoking. So I know people have gone from smokes to vapes and then from vapes to nothing. They used it as a tool to transition themselves off. So that's a difficult question to answer because the answers are going to vary from person to person.
And then there's people that chew on toothpicks.
Right. Yeah. Why? What's he get out of that, man? Look at that clown.
Habit. All habit. Starting when I quit dipping snuff. I gave up tobacco.
Yeah.
That was my placebo, and I haven't let it go.
Rockin' Coach Amy said, I slipped up with 2 small bites of watermelon.
You blasphemous heathen.
No big deal. I had I was at a graduation party right before going to Hocking Hills, and I had a piece myself that was there. So it ain't gonna do you in. So watermelon never killed anybody unless you dropped one on someone from very high altitude. Oh, North Dakota Carnivore Lance here. If I have something that doesn't agree with me, like something cooked in seed oils I didn't know about. I like to do a fast to clean out my system and reset. Okay, yeah, if that works for you. I never really know what doesn't agree with me. If something's not agreeing with me, I just like, okay, it has to work its way through. I can only theorize what it might be. I've never drilled down and do that N equals 1. When something bothers me, I'm just kind of like, I just keep doing what I normally do. Usually if I do have something bother me, it's probably because I did have something that was slightly off plan and out of the ordinary. What exotic animals do some people eat in America? That's funny because if you live in America, then none of your animals are exotic. They're common.
Well, for me,
Squirrel, frog,
we've got Rick. He loves his iguana.
iguanas, yeah.
Exotic animals. I've eaten emu, ostrich, alligator, raccoon. I eat all kinds of deer and whatnot, wild hogs. I don't know if those are considered exotic or not. But I eat frog legs. I don't consider it exotic. That's just natural food growing in the wild to me, but some people would consider it exotic. Eating my share of snails. Love them. Good stuff. There's but we had this talk before. You need to look up one of our other YouTube videos where everybody came on and discussed some of the things that we eat that a lot of people.
It was only about a month ago. Yeah. What's the weirdest animal you ever ate? That was our theme for one night. Yeah.
So look that one up if you would, and you get a good idea of the exotic things that we eat in America. But the average person doesn't. For the average person in America, I'd say eating lamb would be considered the most exotic thing they would eat. But for people like me who hunt and live off the land, anything's game. I mean, I've eaten grasshopper and grub worms. It's not on a regular basis, but only for survival.
All right, Bacon Runner. I just posted your link in the chat. Yeah, go definitely check her out. She had the pajama live with a couple other. What do you call it when you put together something with some other YouTubers? Collaboration. She had a collaboration with other YouTubers on Friday, a pajama party live stream with other carnivores. So yeah, posted the link in her channel. So go give her some support. Spanky says, I cheat food wise now and then and always will, and I'm okay with that. And yeah, that's perfectly fine. Me too. So, I always joke, I say I occasionally cheat with a salad, or I occasionally cheat with a side of broccoli or asparagus or something like that. Once in a great while, usually if we go out to eat or if I'm with company and they're treating me with some for hospitality, they're being, they provided dinner, they worked hard for it. I will usually have whatever they've cooked within reason. I still try and follow my mantra, and that is you got to be able to eat it. If you 10,000 years ago, if you were a wild human, you got to be able to eat it in its raw state without getting sick or dying. So that's I'm okay with. That means you got to be able to hunt it down and roast it over a fire, or you hunt it down and you don't have to roast it at all. Actually, you can eat it raw. Pick it off a branch, pluck it out of the ground, take it off a vine. That rules out to me. That rules out 99% of the grains. That rules out all processed sugar. That rules out, for me, legumes and beans, because you can't eat those in their raw form without getting sick. So therefore, I don't believe that they were designed for human consumption. That's the my philosophy. So it's not the end of the world if you occasionally have a piece of fruit or a vegetable. So just don't make a habit of it. That's my thinking. So trying to be the reasonable carnivore, ketovore, paleo kind of mix thing. So I do the Bob diet. So the Bob diet is meat, 3 meals a day, every day, and the occasional treat with something else. So occasional. Let's see here. Where are we at? Illegal immigrants recently caught eating a cat arrested in Ohio. So this is actually not true. There is a video of a woman from Canton, Ohio, eating a cat, but she's a locally born individual. She wasn't an alien. She wasn't an immigrant. But they've used that footage to turn around and say, "Oh, look, the illegals are eating cats." There's really been no proof. It's a very common. It's very commonly, it's a very popular saying, and because the news got around, and I think even the president repeated it because he heard it too. But as to any kind of evidence, there's nothing in the courts. There's no photos, there's no videos, there's just nothing. So that was 2 years ago now. So Spanky says, I don't go down the rabbit hole with bottled water. Tap water is fine with me. Not paying for H2O. Just saying, most of the bottled water is tap water. I wouldn't be surprised if you asked me. So I'd like to filter my water. Tap water is fine. My tap water, though, tastes a lot better if I run it through a Brita filter or a pure filter. And I recently got a free water dispenser that you put the big blue 5-gallon jugs on upside down, and then you can either get hot or cold water out of it. I got one of those for free, so I started buying 5-gallon jugs of water, and I love it. Actually, it's so convenient. It's ice cold, and it does taste clean. It tastes much cleaner than the tap water. Is it really any different? Am I benefiting from it? Probably not. Water's water.
Yeah, the only time I get tap water.
It.
The only time I get tap water if I go to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't tell you how long I've been drinking well water.
So you probably notice a distinct taste difference then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now, and my well water is very, very pure. The water itself is not pure. When I was up in Weatherford, our well water up there was very heavy in minerals, extremely heavy. In fact, we would go through, it was calcium. We would go through a coffee maker every 30 days, flat clog it up. And my wife had to clean all the porcelain with LCR, to get them clean. The calcium or the mineral content was 28 or 29 parts per million, which is considered over the top high. And so we had a soft water system with a osmosis filter installed. So we were getting as pure as you can get. And then we get down here in Hyco, and our mineral switched to iron. Now we're heavy with iron. So again, we had to go with another soft water system, and an osmosis system to clean everything up.
All right. Rick's in the house. Hello, Rick.
Yeah, I mentioned it for you, Rick.
Yeah. We had a lot of people in here talking about your mighty fine interview with Kurt, and which some of us we're going to make a point of listening to over the next couple days. Muscovy duck is another unique animal that Kurt likes, or I'm sorry, that Rick likes to put on his menu. All right. Zebras taste good. I wouldn't know.
I'm not opposed to trying it.
I know people eat horse, so I imagine they would be similar. So we're actually eating eel now and coconut milk.
Yeah, I want to know where you're at.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I've eaten eel, and I love it. I've had it grilled, and I've had it barbecued. When I was working in South Korea, I was working down in this town called Jinju, and it's right along this river, and the eels come up into the river. So this is known as an eel town, and they have excellent eel. It's wonderful. Of course, the street vendors are all selling it too. But yeah, eel is good eating. So I've had it, but I had it in Korea. I don't find it here in the States. It's a shame goat's expensive there. My gosh, I raised my own goat. In fact, I got 2 goat shoulders thawing out right now from my own goats that I'm going to cook up this weekend. I'm going to smoke them.
The cat lady was in Springfield. She was caught on video by police. I have the video. I'm telling you, it's probably the video of the good lady in Canton, because I investigated it thoroughly. Because when you hear something like that, like, oh, someone was caught eating a cat, I like to verify it. And there's a video of the lady getting arrested, but she is a U.S. person, and she's in Canton, and this is the Canton police. It's not Springfield. Let's see here. Bill, I never felt this good in my life. When carnivore kind of blew my mind. Even my worst day on a carnivore diet beats any good day on the standard American diet. Yes, indeed.
True.
Very good. There was a bodybuilder who eats horse meat. Dr. Chafee mentioned. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, horse meat. I had a friend that went over to Italy to help set up a factory over there before he retired, and he lived down the street from an abattoir, where they butcher meats, and yeah, that's what they specialized in. They were butchering horse and selling horse out of there all day long, and that's what most people in that they eat horse over there like we eat cattle. So it's no big deal, because over here you tell someone you eat horse over here and it's blasphemous. So over here there's some people that say they worship horses. But over there, they go on the plate. So,
yeah, we own horses, and I'm not opposed to eating horse. It's not off my list, but it's not legal here. But if I was down in Mexico, or if I was overseas, and they served me horse, I wouldn't turn my nose up at it.
No. Is it illegal to eat horse here?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it was just illegal or if it was just taboo.
It's illegal to butcher them for food. We used to have a killing market here, and if you had a horse that you needed to get rid of, it was old, it wasn't doing any good, you were just wasting your money with it, or you couldn't afford to feed it, whatever. It was kind of like taking your dog to the pound. You could take them and you could sell them to the killers. In fact, a lot of times, if you went to the auctions, a lot of the guys that were buying them were the killers, and they would haul them off, and I believe they'd haul them down to Mexico, and to have them killed and processed for whatever, because there is a market, for horse meat in feeding dogs and feeding in zoos and whatnot. So there is a market for it. But they put a stop to it here in Texas for whatever reason. And so because of it, we now ended up with this influx of unwanted horses. People can't just get rid of them like they used to. And so because of this, I think the last 5 or 6 horses we've had, we ain't hardly spent a dime on them. I mean, they were given to us, and I'm talking good horses. My wife's a tremendously good horse trainer, and she's made good horses out of every one of them. Because they all have good potential.
So, Manic Gamey says Philippines.
Good deal.
And then Isabella says that in Quebec, we can buy ground horse meat almost everywhere.
Okay.
Yep. And then Sarge something is the bodybuilder Chafee talks about. All right. Running Tap says, I get funny in the tummy eating out with seed oils. I can tell for sure. A lot of people say that. I know Rick says the same thing. And here's even rocking Coach Amy. I've been noticing an extreme pattern of joint pain after I eat at restaurants. I'm pretty sure the seed oils are the culprit. I eat out at a restaurant about once a week. I may have to reconsider. There's how you do your N=1. Just cut off restaurants for the next quarter, and just eat at home, and then return to a restaurant and see if you notice the difference. That's interesting because I don't. As far as I know, I don't have any reaction to seed oils. So I never go anywhere. And here, I know like about 6 months ago, I was talking about how sometimes if I was having a side salad, I'd have to go to the bathroom right away. And I thought, well, maybe because Rick brought up this is the seed oil sends him straight to the bathroom with diarrhea. So I thought, well, maybe I have a salad, I have ranch. Maybe it's the ranch because that is ingredient number one, soybean oil. And now I've been not having a whole lot of salads lately, but when I do, like I've been switched to vinegar and oil, real olive oil, vinegar and olive oil. And it's only once in a while, and I haven't had that problem. But like I go out, sometimes we go out for wings, the wife and I will be like, let's go out for some wings. And the two places that we might get wings, I've never asked them what they cook their wings in, but I mean, what are the odds that it's seed oil? Probably 100%, right? I don't care. I eat them anyway, and I never have any issues. So I'm kind of leaning to the idea that seed oils really don't bother me, not instantly like that. I can't think of a reason why they would anybody other than particular sensitivities. So, yeah. Because even then, the mechanics of it, so rancidity. I mean, that could be a reason. It could be rancidity. But, if it's, outside of that, it's just got a little more linoleic acid in it, which you can get from other sources of food too. And linoleic acid causes more, begins with an A, something else acid. And that's the one that can potentially, in excessive large doses, gradually lead to inflammation. But you'd have to have a lot, and you'd have to have a lot over a long period of time. So just have like a little bit on your, so it's a little bit spread on the grill that a steak was cooked in. I would just personally would think they would be so trivial, but everyone's different. So, I don't want to rule it out, but it doesn't seem to affect me. So maybe I'm just fortunate in that way. All right. Can you tell when you've had seed oils, Jeff?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No. The only time I've ever had an issue with anything was when where was I? I think I was in Louisiana visiting my sister. Anyways, the hotel we stayed at, they had the continental breakfast type deal, and the only thing there that I was willing to eat was some eggs, and there were some sausage patties, and I ate a bunch of the sausage patties, and they upset me. I got sick. Now, was it the seed oils or all the junk that was in the sausage patties? Because I'm sure they're probably full of all kinds of fillers, carbs, sugar, and possibly cooked in seed oils. Who knows? I don't know. So what was it? But like we took the grandkids over to the Italian restaurant we got here in town, and there's nothing there on the menu I'll eat except for one thing, and that's wings. They got wings there. And their wings, this is a little Italian joint in the middle of Hicksville, Texas. And them folks have got the best wings I've ever eaten. I mean, they're delicious. They're big and they're fatty, extremely fatty. And I think that's what makes them taste so good. And I'd bet you dollars to donuts, they're cooked in seed oils. But I'll eat a dozen of them and they don't bother me a bit. Not that I notice. Now, Latro makes a good point. You may have even started this one, but he says the reaction to seed oils is you can't ever burn the fat once it gets into the adipose tissues. That's the reaction. And so it's nothing that we would notice. But if that is true, then yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing.
This is true. So seed oil in adipose tissue is very difficult to get rid of. You have to get rid of the seed oil and the fat, you have to burn the fat, and so most people don't burn the fat. If you don't burn the fat, it'll take 6 years for it to actually leave the body. So
Okay, so does eating a strict carnivore diet, does that burn it out? Or
so when you lose weight and the fat on your body dissolves, then yes, the linoleic acid that was stored in that fat will also melt off and go away.
Because he's saying you can't ever burn that fat once it gets into the adipose tissues. So that's contradicting.
Yeah, no. You can burn it doesn't make the fat like an untouchable fuel source. You can still burn that fat, but that's why it hangs around so long. It can get into all your tissues, but it's when it gets into your fat tissues, it likes to stay there because fat usually stays there in general for most people. If you add more fat to you, you're probably adding more of that linoleic acid, the seed oil to it. But
so then if you eat a standard American diet, you're going to store that up. You ain't never going to get rid of it. It's going to be there for forever and a day.
It could potentially be in you for up to 6 years.
Yeah.
If you maintain your weight. If you lose weight, you could lose some of it, but nobody loses 100% of their fat.
No.
There's nobody out there with zero fat.
No.
So
you're down to about 10%.
You always have some in your system. So, and omega-6 and linoleic acid by itself is not harmful. So
I noticed just interesting. You mentioned that you always have fat. So, little interesting side note. Can you do this through a blood test? I don't know, but so my oncologist ordered a slew of blood tests. I mean, they drew 15 vials of blood out of me, and they were, one of the tests they were looking at. They was doing looking for some specific genes that promote blood clotting, which turns out I have one. I do have a gene that promotes blood clotting in my legs. Anyhow, so I'm reading this whole report, and they're testing all these different things. It's just so wild. I didn't know there were so many things they could test. But on the report, it stated that body composition that I was, what was it? My body fat was at 21. Can you tell that through a blood test?
I thought you needed like a DEXA scan.
Yeah, DEXA scan. They didn't do that, so I don't know where they got that number from. Now I know my body fat is for what they consider healthy is at a healthy level. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if it got down lower than that. But yeah, I just found that odd that was in my blood test, or in the report from my blood test.
Yeah, that would be. I don't know what they would be used to calculate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask them about that my next visit.
Wings at Buffalo Bills, maybe seed oil. Buffalo Bills or Buffalo BW3, like Buffalo Wild Wings and WEC. They're using like a tallow now. So
yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings is supposedly using a tallow, and there's something about it. They put something in it to prevent foaming or something. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I don't know. But it's better than seed oils, I would imagine.
Yeah. Latros free of seed oils, 26 months now, finally seeing some relief in type 2 diabetes. So, all right. That's awesome.
Good to know.
Keep doing what you're doing. So yeah, I'm by no means saying seed oils are harmless. I'm by no means, saying that like I do believe that they should be avoided by and large. Oh, look.
I personally believe they should be outlawed. You know?
Oh, yeah, they can be outlawed for all I care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outlawed is good for it. Kelly, you're late to the party.
Yeah, I had to travel across country to take my oldest daughter back for her ride to get back home. So I'm just now getting home, eating. I don't feel like fixing anything, so I fixed some bacon for supper.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Very good. That's probably what I'll eat. I got leftover bacon from my 3-day excursion in Hocking Hills. I can warm that up and eat it because by the time I get off of here, it'll be too late for a meal.
Yeah, we're fixing to take another out-of-town trip going up to Colorado at the end of the month. And so I got 3 pounds of bacon I need to get out and start thawing so I can dehydrate me some bacon and need to get some beef out so I can get it sliced up and make me some more jerky. Got to prepare for them trips, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What was that? I didn't mean to press that. Hold on here. I'm typing something and all my comments just vanished. There we are. Here we go. Rick says, why do I have such bad reactions to seed oils?
Because you're so pure.
Yeah, that's probably it. Let's see here. I'm going to ask Mr. AI here. Why do some people have such immediate bad reactions to?
Because he's a well-oiled machine and something bad goes into his system, he reacts quickly.
That's exactly right, I believe.
Let's see what artificial intelligence says. Oh, hold on, skip past it. Okay, so immediate bad reactions to seed oils are usually not from the linoleic acid, the main omega-6 fat, suddenly embedding in your cells. That's a process that takes time. Instead, they usually stem from oxidation products, processing residues, individual sensitivities, or digestive responses triggered by consuming heated or refined seed oils. So it's just a reaction, a sensitivity, to the oil itself, the residues inside. So plausible explanations include toxic aldehydes and oxidation byproducts, gut and digestive sensitivity, inflammatory or immune response, and other additives and contaminants. So, all right.
Yeah, I was, that's like my first year. I guess it was sometime, I don't remember exactly the timeline, but, my first year as carnivore, once my body had gotten cleaned up and I was over the addictions, this, that, and the other thing, my wife still refers to it. She wanted some venison chili. She loves my chili. And so I fixed her a pot of it. And man, it just smelled so good. I thought, I'm going to have me a little bit. So I took me one little ladle full, put it in a bowl, and I ate that. And it tasted so good. I had a second one, and she even warned me. She says, you better be careful. Don't eat too much. And sure enough, I was sick for 3 days. And, my chili is something I could eat a ton of it. I love my chili, but there was something in it, that just, my body was too clean now and it won't accept it. Was it all the tomato sauce, the tomatoes that go in it, or was it all the chili powder that goes in it, the seasonings? I don't know. But my body wouldn't take it anymore. So we can get clean to the point where certain things will affect us that didn't used to affect us. I know that.
This is pretty interesting here. So it says your body can absorb and begin metabolizing fats within hours and oxidized compounds act quickly as irritants. So, however, the long-term storage turnover of linoleic acid in tissues, the half-life of 2 years, explains why full benefits from avoiding seed oils is actually takes time. Immediate symptoms are more about acute irritation rather than permanent cellular changes. Mainstream sources downplay seed oil harms for average consumers, but in low polyunsaturated fat contexts like yours, quick relief upon avoidance are common in carnivore communities. The practical tip would be to stick to animal fats or stable solutions like olive and avocado oil for cooking. So, track symptoms with a food diary and consider lab work to test for oxidative stress markers or fatty acid profiles if reactions persist. So
that's all fine. Let's tell all the restaurants.
Yeah.
That's the issue here.
So it's interesting. That's exactly what we talk about, in our community. And the AI is like, yeah, this is the real deal. All right.
Yeah, everybody has to know their limits.
Yeah. A little bit of vegetable oil.
Make mistakes.
Yeah, a little bit of vegetable oil won't kill you. I've had sampled some egg rolls fried in vegetable oil. There's also some context here. So like seed oils are in everything in the standard American diet. They're in every chip, every cookie, every cake, every fast food item. Everything's deep fried in them. And if things are deep fried in them, they're rancid. They've been subjected to heat and cool down periods. They're not changed for days at a time in the restaurants, and all that stuff oxidizes it, makes it rancid, makes it nasty, and you get an overconsumption of amount of it. When you're on a carnivore diet, ketovore, proper human diet, even a paleo diet, they all will tell you to avoid seed oils. So if you're not consuming all these manufactured products, and they say that 9 to 10% of calories consumed in a Western diet comes from seed oils because it's in everything. So when you eat a proper human diet and remove all that stuff, then is the little trace seed oil, going to harm you? Like, you get omega-6, you get linoleic acid in an egg, but in nature you get the proportions that are realistic and that are good for you, and in all the manufactured food, then you get these ratios where your omega-6 and your linoleic acid profiles are way overblown. So a lot of it is just a matter of eating right. But I agree with this comment here. A little bit of vegetable oil isn't going to kill you. Now, in the case of Rick, which we've also talked about it with AI here, he's got definitely an individual sensitivity towards something in it, and you might be that type of person also, because it's not something that's unheard of. Rick's not the only person I've ever heard it from. No. So nothing doesn't affect me, doesn't affect Jeff. Kelly, do you notice when you eat seed oils or not really? You're muted.
I haven't really noticed it. Of course, if they do have a little seed oil, most of it would be at the Texas Roadhouse. Other than that, I don't even eat hardly anything with seed oils in it.
Right. Yeah. That's same with me. So I'll eat a steak at the Texas Roadhouse. Be just fine. In my first year and a half of carnivore, I was that guy that said, "Don't throw it on the griddle with the oil. Just throw it right on the grill with the open flame." And I even told him that I was like, "I'm allergic to seed oils. I'll drop dead in your dining room." And then that just brought like 2 managers out. They're like, "Oh, we heard someone came back and told us that And I was like, okay, now I felt kind of bad because it wasn't really true. So.
Yeah, there's several people in the comments, Amy being one of them, they notice a difference.
Yeah. Amy, just like Rick, notices a difference. Yeah.
With some of them, they'll notice some stiffness or pain.
Yeah.
It affects them, affects their joints. So it goes back to, once again, everybody being an individual. Yeah. You got to do what's right for you, what's best for you, what makes you feel better.
Yeah. Aaron, also the carnivore-ish guy. I like that name. Aaron, the carnivore-ish guy. I can't say I eat enough seed oil to know that it impacts me. Okay, yeah.
It's so rare.
So it's the chemicals. Could be, because they were talking about the aldehydes and the other stuff. Again, if you're if you haven't studied seed oils, look up on YouTube how seed oils are made and watch the process. You'll be a butter boy from now on. I tell you, it's so disgusting.
First time I saw it, yeah.
Yep.
No,
I think like if you go to Texas Roadhouse and they put that steak on the flat grill, I don't think there's enough seed oils on that to would affect much. But I don't know. We're all different, so it could affect us differently. But for me, I remember the last time I went to Texas Roadhouse, I forgot to tell them that not to put it on the flat grill and put it on the regular grill and hold the seasoning. And it didn't bother me, that 24-ounce ribeye.
I'd be more concerned about the seasoning because you can buy a bottle of it, and if you look at the ingredients, it's
sugar.
Ingredient number 1, sugar. Ingredient number 2, seasoned salt. So I'd be more worried about just give me regular salt and don't put your seasoning on it. All right. Charger Mopar says coconut oil has no bad effects on me. That's a good fat. Olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil is definitely up there. So very high saturated fat. Good stuff. Let's see here. I used to make coconut oil mayonnaise for Mom and also tartar sauce, and it had no bad effect on me. Did it taste like coconut? I'm not a big coconut fan, so I don't know about coconut mayo and coconut tartar sauce. If it tastes like coconut, I'd pass probably.
I don't mind the taste of it.
All right. Latro's having some chili. Sounds good. All right. A goat stew with 2 spoonfuls of canola oil gave me explosive diarrhea on a job site. Okay. I believe you. Let's see here. Heart attack diet. That's another name for a carnivore diet. It's Rick's name for a carnivore diet.
That's the original carnivore diet.
Yep. Let's see here. Heart attack diet is the best diet ever.
I wouldn't be a bit opposed to changing the name carnivore diet to the heart attack diet just to tick off all the veggies, all the doctors, just to be a deviant.
Yep, the heart attack diet's so good. You're waiting to have that heart attack.
Yeah, bring it on.
Texas Roadhouse uses canola and soybean oil on their flat grill and their searing grill. So when I was there, I saw them put a ladle of oil on the grill before they threw a steak on it. And I asked him what it was, and he told me it was rice oil. That was exactly what the cook said. At my local Texas Roadhouse.
It ain't gonna make me stop eating at Texas Roadhouse. I may ask them to just season with salt and pepper. I may ask them to, not put it on flat top, but I ain't gonna stop eating there because that's the only place I can go and get a custom cut steak exactly the size I want it. And I get a 2-pounder every time. Love it.
There's the puppy. There's the puppy. Puppy. All right, very nice. Uncle Charlie says people used to say carnivore diet was a fad, but it's a way of life.
Yeah,
I agree.
For those that choose it as a way of life, for some people it's still a diet.
Yeah.
And for those, they more often than not fail, unfortunately.
North Dakota Carnivore Lance, my wife and I ate at a wing restaurant, and the next day we both hurt. I fasted for 3 days and was good within 24 hours of starting my fast. Wife hurt for a week. Let's see here. Bill quit smoking in 2017 when they took his gallbladder out. Good for you. I definitely encourage anybody and everybody to quit smoking. Of course, you're all adults and you can do what you want, but I just find it counterintuitive to a carnivore diet. We're trying to improve our health on one end, and then doing something that damages it on the other is a contradiction. So to me, so. But again, like I said,
is that like the 300-pound person that goes through the drive-through at McDonald's and gets a Big Mac, large order of fries, a apple pie, and a Diet Coke?
Right. Yep. Because you don't want to drink his calories.
Hey man, that was the ultimate diet for me in the back in the day.
Oh, I know, but I always, even before I was health conscious, I always thought that was so odd when you'd see somebody eating donuts and burritos and this, that, and other thing, but they got their Diet Coke. So they're being healthy because they're not introducing sugar in their Coke.
Yeah, I was that person. So, but first time I lost weight, I was in middle school. I was very heavy, and I was drinking massive amounts of Coca-Cola Classic, because back then there was 2 Cokes, New Coke and Coca-Cola Classic. And then in 8th grade, I became a little self-conscious about my weight, and I wanted to do something about it. So one of the things I did was switch to Diet Coke. Hated it, but it's an acquired taste, just like anything else you hate and learn to love. And but switching to Diet Coke and being a growing teenager, I actually lost a lot of weight just from making that one change. And then so that for the rest of my life, I was just drinking Diet Coke all the time, even though I was eating unhealthy. So
yeah, I never did the Diet Coke thing or the diet anything thing, when I was eating junk, sad, and because it seemed hypocritical of me. It seemed silly, and because I saw it for what it was. But now I did start, and I was never a Coke drinker. I was a Dr. Pepper drinker. Texas, it's all about Dr. Pepper. The original soda pop, soda water, whatever you want to call it, and it was out before Coke. It was invented right here in Texas. So anyway, Dr. Pepper is what I drank, and I did switch when I went low carb. When I went Atkins, I did switch to Diet Dr. Pepper because I didn't want the sugar and the carbs. But when I was trying to be health conscious, I did go to the sugar-free stuff. I didn't realize that I was still drinking poison at the time. I realize that now, though. I won't drink that stuff.
Rick says Diet Coke is nasty. So I was a Diet Coke addict for decades. I finally got off of it 9 months ago, maybe longer. I had to, though, because my phosphorus levels are high because of my kidneys, and Diet Coke is pure phosphoric acid. And so I managed to wean myself off of Diet Coke. Now, if I have a Diet Coke, it tastes like chemicals. Like I'll crack one open and I'll drink it, and it tastes like cleaner, some sort of cleaning agent, oven cleaner. It's just I can't stand it now. But it's probably the same principle behind you and your loss of taste for alcohol, Jeff.
Yeah.
You've gone so long without it that when you reintroduced it, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Why did I ever drink this? So that's me and Diet Coke now. So, all right, let's see here. I quit the diet sodas by switching to sugar-free aromatic soda water. So that's same here. I'm drinking bubbly water now. That's how I love my bubbles. So that's what I do. All right.
I have noticed that people are addicted to that the carb burn, the carb feeling going down their throat.
Let's see here. Catching up on some comments here. I finally got to the end here and start a few. Rick says he can eat mango. So this comes up. Here's the discussion here. Oh, we'll do this one first. I forgot about this one. Cutler reacts within 2 hours of eating seed oils. Now he uses an app called Seed Oil Scout. I highlighted this because this is a useful app. And it's an app you can get on your mobile device. It tells you where you can go to a restaurant that does not use seed oils in their cooking. So that's what
I
Seed
have
Oil
that.
Scout is. Yeah. All right. Manix Gaming from the Philippines says, since increasing protein and fat, I crave fruit, especially in the heat. So that could be, are you hydrated? Because fruit's very full of water. And if you're hot and you're, sweating a lot, the fruit's full of water, besides the fact that it's refreshing. So, depending on who you are physically, fruit isn't inherently bad either. In small quantities. Again, you can't live as a fruitarian; you will die. But we've talked about fruitarians who have died. But there are carnivores out there who like to have occasional fruit. And they're fine. There's carnivores out there that eat a lot of fruit, and they call it an animal-based diet. So much fruit that you don't know why they even call it animal-based anymore. I think that's a bit excessive. But you mentioned plantains and salt or something. Depending on how healthy you are, how physically active you are, and etc. That might not be a problem to have some occasional fruit in the heat.
Well, he
Again,
mentioned in a previous post just before that that he doesn't crave sugar at all now. Since becoming carnivore or carnivore-ish. But then now he turns around and says, but he craves fruit. So you're still craving sugar. So my question would be, what I would wonder about, all right, we know that eating sugar or things that have sugar in it, just regular sugar, that's processed differently than fruit is processed. The sugars in fruit, fructose, we know goes straight to the liver. So could you not have a addiction to sugar so much, but still have an addiction to fruit because of the way it's processed?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. And to give you an example, so my wife at one point was leaning towards the diabetic range because she has a sweet tooth. Okay. And so the doctor said, you need to cut it out, and this is kind of neat because I was on a carnivore diet. So it was like, you need to maybe eat a little more like him, not all the way like him, because he didn't like my diet either, but he didn't like my diet either, but he didn't like her diet either. And she's like, well, what do I do when I've got these cravings? And he said, eat fruit. And I'm all on board with that. So over the next 3 months, my God, did she eat fruit? I mean, fruit, all kinds of fruit, cutting up fruit every meal, fruit everywhere. She was eating fruit like she was eating candy before. And we go to the next checkup and do some blood work, and things have gotten a little worse. And he's like, I thought I told you to stop eating sweets. And she's like, I did. I just eat fruit like you told me to. And I'm like, well, doc, I would have to bust her here. I'm like, when she says she eats fruit, she eats, oh my God, a lot of fruit. I was like, I've tried to tell her that, she needs to eat a little fruit, not a lot of fruit. And he's like, yes. He's like, I didn't think of you a license to eat all the fruit you can. I said, when you have a craving, I said, have a piece of fruit. I didn't say eat all the fruit, a piece of fruit to satisfy the craving and then move on with life, And so that is true. And things got worse, which is also backs up Latro's comment here. Fructose per unit is 7 times more glycating than glucose. A1C does not reflect fructose damage. In her case, it did, but probably not the full impact of it, because I know you got to get a fructosamine test to see that for sure. But yeah, this is absolutely accurate, and that's why there's this myth that diabetics can eat all the fruit that they want, because you don't see it affect their A1C, and therefore they're like, well, if it doesn't affect your A1C, it must be okay. That's not the case at all. So there's truth to this statement here. Latro is on point here. It's 7 times more glycating. It's not reflected in the A1C. Does that mean that you should never, ever, 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 ever have a piece of fruit? That's not what that means. Is there ever any requirement to have fruit? No, there's not. There's no requirement to have a single gram of carbohydrates ever.
Nope.
And so that's not the case. But thousands of years of human existence or longer, fruit never killed a single one. Unless you tried to live as a fruitarian in the last 50 years, then you died. So,
see, there's another one of those contradictions that I've thought about. I come across things and I think about them and they don't make sense to me. So you remember when the big craze was going on, we see these fads all the time about getting fructose out of everything. Don't eat foods that have fructose in them. Don't eat that candy because it's got fructose in it. Don't eat this food because it's got fructose in it. It's bad for you. And, there was this big push to get fructose out of everything. Yet they turn right around and say one of the healthiest things you can eat is fruit. What are the sugars in fruit? It's fructose.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it? Because it's in the fruit, you consider it healthy, but when it's in something else, you consider it, unhealthy. Never made sense to me. I don't understand the hypocrisy in nutrition.
Yeah. Manic saying, I think it's the hydration. If you crave fruits in hot weather like the Philippines, that's why when I drink water, I make sure it's cold and add some salt. That's good. That replenishes your electrolytes too. And you have some electrolytes in fruits too, so that could be why you could be craving that too. You also said, if you don't eat a lot of meat, you will be addicted to fruits. That's my theory. Now, there is a scientific basis for this theory. Your energy has to come from somewhere. So if you're a carnivore, you fuel yourself with fat. Fat is your energy. And then protein can also be converted into glucose as needed by the body. If you are depriving yourself of either one of those things, you got to get energy from somewhere. There's only one other option, and that's carbohydrates. And that's why if you're not eating a lot of meat and fat, then yeah, you're going to be jonesing for that fruit, not because it's fruit, just because you need energy, and you need energy from somewhere. So eat your fat, eat your meat. And Rick's right. Meat tastes so much better than fruit. All right. Let's see here. Coach Angela Mullins, sorry to hear that. My condolences go out to you and your family. Let's see here. Cutler, when consumed in excess, the liver rapidly converts fructose into free fatty acids and packages them into triglycerides. This is also accurate. Yep. So, but, again, ancient humans, if they came across edible fruit that was in season, they ate it. Ancient humans, if they came across a beehive, gold mine. They all took advantage of it. So, now, does that mean you should? No, not necessarily. So, again, depending on what your goals are, what your health is, can you enjoy that or should you avoid it? I can't answer that for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm eating fruits right now. I'm not being 100% pure. I've got blackberries growing on my back fence line there, and so I'll pick and eat them when they come right, about 10 of them or so a day. I have noticed a little bit of a craving, for something sweet after I eat a meal. So I'm seeing a difference. Weight-wise, physically, I'm not noticing anything. I'm just starting to notice a craving. So it's something that I have to look at and make sure I control. But eventually they'll quit producing. And when they do, I won't be eating any more fruits. But I understand berries are supposedly low glycemic. I don't know, but they don't seem to be bothering me right now.
And my apple trees are still a little tart. So we had a deer coming by, and I was picking them and tossing them to the deer, and I picked a couple and tried one, and gave the rest to the deer because it was still a little sour. They're usually ready towards the end of this month, early August. So, but they're up so high now because I actually had a lot of dead branches this year, so I cut them off and burned them. So it's actually, I can almost not reach the apples myself now, and they fall to the ground. You don't want them at that point. So.
You burned all the limbs.
They were dead. No leaves, no nothing. I got like 5 trees in my yard that I think that they're all dying.
You ever grill outdoors? You ever smoke any meat?
I grill outdoors. Yes. We smoke sometimes.
Don't ever throw away your fruit wood when it's dead. Save it. Use it for smoking your meats. Even on a grill. I mean, if you got a charcoal type or wood type grill, put it on there just to get the smoke flavor into your meats. Fruit wood is great for pork. That's my favorite. I love any kind of fruit wood for pork. My old place, we used to have, when we first moved in there, we had 6 or 8 peach trees. And eventually with droughts, this, that, and other thing, there's no telling how old them peach trees were. We started losing them. And I saved every bit of that wood. And oh my gosh, that peach wood was so good for smoking pork. It was wonderful. I really miss it.
Let's see here. All right. Grapes are deadly to dogs. Yeah, I've heard that too. All right. I have to run to the restroom. I shall return. So you guys talk about whatever you want. I'll be right back.
Yeah, with that bit about the grapes on the dogs, I saw a lot of y'all's posts, especially the one about the cat won't eat fruit, but their dog will. And why is that? Well, this is why cats are considered carnivores and dogs aren't. Now, I will argue the point that dogs are carnivores, but it's been a common thought, among veterinarians and everything that they're not carnivores, because dogs will eat just about anything for the most part. I mean, my gosh, I had a dog that would eat lettuce and tomatoes. Silly dog, but I've got a border collie right now. You put anything in front of her that ain't meat, she ain't touching it. She will not eat it. She wants meat only. But I've had other dogs that would eat anything you threw in front of them. So it depends on the animal itself, but I'll still say dogs are carnivores, just like I'll say people are carnivores. Because just because you're willing to eat something, and just because you can eat something doesn't mean you're not a carnivore. It just means you can do this. It's what you choose to eat. I have seen cats eat plant matter, but they're still considered carnivores. So not all dogs are going to eat, fruits or vegetables, but some will. And it's because they're carnivores, it's not good for them. Especially if they generally eat nothing but meat, then just like humans, they can become sensitive to something outside of their normal diet. This is dogs that eat kibble that's full of grains. They're going to probably be more likely to eat something like a fruit or a vegetable because they're getting carbs all the time. And so their body may even crave something like that. Whereas a dog that eats nothing but meat all the time, I would think would turn their nose up at that. And that's just a thought of mine. I'm seeing it in my dogs. My dogs eat meat. And it's only rare in the wintertime when they need an extra layer of fat to get through the winter that we will ever give them carbs. We'll give them some kibble. We'll pour, animal fats over it, but we will give them kibble in the wintertime, but not in the summertime. We need them lean and healthy in the summertime. So, if your animal will eat that stuff, I wouldn't feed it to them. I'd keep them away from it. All they need to be eating is meat. That's what they're designed for.
Totally agree, 100%.
Yeah, Latro says his Catahoula will not eat meat if he thinks it's old. My Catahoula would. I had the most primitive Louisiana Catahoula leopard dog you ever saw in your life. She was crazy. Her name was Hula the Catahoula. And I'm out. Somebody had run through my front fence. Sorry outfits, run through my fence, pulled out, didn't tell me about it. They left, and I had a big hole in my fence, and I got livestock. Yeah, I'm just lucky nothing found the hole in the fence before I got to fix it. But anyhow, I'm out there fixing it, and my dog's with me. And there is an old carcass of a rabbit that had been hit on the road that was on my property. And she goes over there, and I'm talking, this thing is old. She goes over there and wolfs that thing down. Hair, ears, hide, all. Just wolfs that thing down. And I'm like, you sick dog. You are going to get so ill from that. She never did, as far as I know. But that's the way she was. She would, if she thought it was food, she was going to eat it. And unfortunately, we lost that dog due to cancer. And I believe it was due to Roundup. Can't prove it, but we used to spray for a weed killer around the house, Roundup. And my wife noticed that when we would spray it, she'd come behind us and lick it up wherever we sprayed it. And so I believe she ended up getting cancer, and we had to put her down. I believe that's what it was from that Roundup. Even though supposedly they say it doesn't cause cancer. So we've been talking about carnivore dogs since there was so much discussion about, dogs eating fruit and whatnot. Basically, just like humans, just because they can doesn't mean they should.
Yeah, although they are, so they would be hypercarnivore. The majority of their meat, would also come from animal sources, but they are somewhat omnivorous, like most animals are, because they can eat a very varied diet. So, like my dog will eat. If you give my dog fruit, my dog will enjoy it, and my dog also has the adaptations and the enzymes and everything just like a human does, So, I try to avoid starch like the plague most of the time. But the truth is, you've got a enzyme, amylase that your mouth secretes as soon as a starch hits your tongue. It already starts breaking down that starch. And as part of the digestion process in your mouth as you're chewing, you haven't even swallowed yet. So you've got, designs within you as a human to be opportunistic eaters, So there's a preference for meat for sure, but there's the possibility of eating anything you can to survive. So a dog is very similar because, well, dogs and humans, they've pretty much cohabitated now for tens of thousands of years. So
yeah, my dogs won't touch fruit or vegetables, but we feed them a meat diet.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's that makes a difference.
Now, and with that said, so I've also read studies where, dogs used to live a lot longer than they do today, because in the past or in other countries, we had a gas station down the street where I grew up that was owned by someone from the Middle East. You know, we always jokingly called it there. You had Dairy Mart and you had Saudi Mart. You know, it was, you know, that's kind of what we called them. And we would go down there. It was the closest store, so we go down there to pick up stuff every once in a while. And the woman that worked there said that one of the weirdest things that she's seen since coming to America was dog food. She said, where I come from, the dog eats what you eat. You cook a meal and you prepare a dish for the dog, and the dog enjoys what you eat, or the dog gets the leftovers, what everybody doesn't finish eating. They never had us. There was no such thing as dog food, you know?
Yeah. And that's how my dogs eat.
Yeah.
You know, they will eat leftovers. We give them carcasses. One of their favorite things is if I butchered an animal, you know, they get the bones and whatnot. Anything that I'm not going to keep for cooking, they get the carcasses, and they just absolutely love it. And like I cooked up a bunch of bacon and made some meatballs the other day, and the leftover fat, normally I keep it, but I poured it into a bowl and forgot about it and left it out overnight, you know, and the wife asked, you know, is this good or bad? And I'm like, because it's got some meat stuff in it, I'm going to say, no, I'll give it to the dogs, you know, so they got a nice treat out of that. But yeah, they get, if I'm at a restaurant and we have leftovers, we get home, those dogs are getting those leftovers. But one of the great things, it's sad, but it works out good, is so my daughter, she had a meat full of freezer, small stand-up freezer, and it accidentally got unplugged, and she doesn't know how long the meat did thaw, but she doesn't know how long. It was still kind of cool, but she was scared of it. And she's like, I'm worried that, you know, I'm not going to feed it to my family. And we said, okay, refreeze it and save it. We'll take every bit of it. We'll feed it to our dogs. And that's what my dogs are eating on. They're eating brisket. They're eating, you know, pulled pork, you know, all raw. Absolutely. They're having a ball. They're loving it.
All right.
I share pork rinds with my dog.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I have to share pork rinds with my dog because she begs anything I mean. I'm sitting there eating a steak. She thinks she has to share everything I eat. And so she's going to sit there with her sad sack eyes, you know, acting all sweet and everything, you know, even though I know she's a little monster. You know, you can tell she's just staring at you, trying to, you know, a little mental telepathy, you know, feed me. So I have to keep a bag of pork rinds there and just toss her a pork rind once in a while to satisfy her. You ain't getting
that's
my
the
steak.
way. That's the way Doodles is. He'll sit there, he'll wag his tail, and he'll stare at you and wag his head. Next thing you know, he's drooling.
Yeah. Mine will drool. She'll have a puddle underneath her, and if I don't give her enough attention, she'll come over and she'll lay her head on my lap and stare up at me like, you do realize I'm here, right? Yeah, I know you're there, and I know you're cute, but you're still not getting any of my steak. Here's a pork rind.
We love our dogs. Cranky says ancient and wild fruits were significantly lower in fructose as well as total sugars compared to their modern counterparts. This is accurate. Yep. So man has manipulated them to be bigger, sweeter, juicier, just like they've manipulated animals to be bigger and fattier and tastier. So, all right. If I make a video of giving my cat fruit, she just ignores it and keeps asking for something different and be annoying. Yeah, I had a cat that would eat Doritos, but most cats, it's just the kibble, the treats, or the canned food or meat. But the cats are even more obligate carnivore than a dog.
Yeah.
So a cat's going to be more finicky.
Yeah, and I've probably got 8 or 9 cats right now, and we feed them a little bit of wet food. All my cats are barn cats. They have to earn their living around here. We don't. They're not allowed in the house, and we feed them just a little bit because we want them hunting, and they hunt far and wide. And several times a week, we'll see one with a big old rat. We want them out of the barn. We don't want them anywhere near our feed.
This is where I was getting at earlier. Dogs. We were saying that this woman said that they didn't have dog food in her country. I've read that dogs used to have longer lifespans back when they used to just eat real food, and that now we have kibble, and kibble is the marriage of the grain industry and the meat industry. You've got the grain industry produces food, and then there's certain byproducts of those grains that are determined to be not fit for human consumption. Same thing with the meat industry. So there's certain things that after processing the meat, this isn't fit for human consumption, so they say. And so thus the two industries got together and dog food was born, kibble. And so it's basically the garbage, the leftover garbage that they give to the dog. And that now that dogs subsist on kibble, their lifespans have been cut short, and you see a lot more tumors and glaucoma and cataracts and other issues with the dogs now that wasn't the case, say, like overweight. In the 1800s. Yeah, overweight dogs. A dog is an apex predator. Why it shouldn't be fat?
No. So, see, none of my dogs are fat. Now my pit bull bulldog cross, big old boy, he's 16 now, and you can tell he's old. He don't see good anymore, and he doesn't hear very good. Got a little gimp in his rear end, but he's still going strong. He whooped a young Great Pyrenees a couple of months ago that come on our place, and he lit into that dog and run it off. He's still a fighter. But now, when it comes to those dog foods, my gosh, look at the labeling on not the label of the ingredients, but look at the packaging on them, and they advertise the vegetables in the dog food as if it's something to be proud of.
Especially the more pricey dog food.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, so now with that said, my dog, I do buy kibble. It's Rachel Ray's grain-free dog food. Just like I don't eat grains, I don't feed my dog grains. And but my dog eats what I eat. Like when I make a meal, the dog gets treated to usually whatever we're eating. But there's always a bowl of food in case it's hungry or it didn't get enough to satisfy its hunger. So usually in the middle of the night, mine will get up and go and eat some of its kibble. And but outside of that, throughout the day, my dog's eating good. So
yeah, well, and I was telling them before you came back that we will feed kibble to our dogs in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
Now, usually it's got fat poured over it, or broth of some kind poured over it. But we do that. Our dogs are outdoor dogs. Our animals don't stay in our house. My border collie is the only one that's allowed to come in. That's only because she's spoiled. Her nickname is Princess for a reason. But she's allowed to come in, and our dogs are on a feeding schedule. They eat twice a day, and they eat a set amount of food. They eat what they need, not what they want. And they get their treats. They get their, like I said, they'll get a carcass once in a while and pig out on it. But we feed them kibble in the wintertime to build up a layer of fat on them because they need that fat to help them get through the cold winters. And they got their hay, they got their dog houses. They do just fine getting through the winter. They don't have a problem with it at all. But you've got to put that layer of fat on. They need it. all animals that live outdoors have to have that layer of fat on them to get through a winter. And of course, there's people probably think we're cruel because our dogs live outdoors in the winter, but trust me, they're fat, happy, and they enjoy the cold.
Everybody's dogs used to live outside.
Yeah,
it's the indoor dog is more of a modern.
I'll see these people on some social media. They like to post these memes. If you're cold outside, so is your dog. That is a load of crap. Because for one thing, my dogs, as all animals, put on a winter coat. They put a down on. Even my short-haired dogs have a winter coat. My horses have a winter coat. My cattle, my goats, my sheep, they all put on a winter coat. We can't do that. Okay. So yeah, we're going to feel the cold when they don't. And then when you feed them and put on that layer of fat, that adds protection to them. And they get that brown fat in them that protects them from the cold. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've had dogs that I couldn't bring them indoors in the wintertime. They would suffocate. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle 5 minutes indoors. They have to go back outside. They have to be out there. So I get, my general comment to those people who think we're cruel because our dogs live outdoors, because they are outdoor dogs. And they say, well, if you feel cold, they feel cold. Well, so should I bring my cattle indoors too? Should I bring my horses into the living room? How about my sheep and my goats? Should I bring them in too? Come on, people, get real. Get real. Your dog is not a person.
Yeah, this is the first dog I ever had indoors, and he's more of a wussy that he'll want to go outside and get fresh air, but he ready to go in. But most of my pets, most of my life were outside. They never had any issues with them, getting cold. I remember when we had the horses, we had most of our horses grow winter hair, but my dad had a mare that must have come from the north, because when she grew her winter coat, it was like she was shaggy. She was more shaggy than the other horses.
Yeah, they'll put on different coats. Now you want to see something funny. Now, you ever watch a movie and something about what it is the movie is portraying? Like if I watch a movie that involves the military, I can nitpick it to death. If I watch something about aviation, I can nitpick it to death, because these are things I'm familiar with. Just like a police officer can nitpick a cop show to death. And so my wife can watch a movie that's got horses in it and nitpick it to death. I can watch, take for instance, Yellowstone. I got a list as long as my arm. I can nitpick that sucker to death. There's so much to nitpick on that. But anyhow, so we'll watch these movies, and she'll spot things I won't spot, because I'm not looking for it. And but we'll see a scene where three cowboys they're riding the horse in the wintertime up in North Dakota somewhere, belly high snow, horses are plodding through it, and you look at the horses and they're slicked off as if it's 110 degrees outside, and we'll notice things like that, because no horse, especially, and this would be a movie about, the 1800s, no horse back then was ever slicked off in the wintertime. It doesn't happen, So it just, little nitpicky things you can pick out of movies, things that they don't know people are gonna catch.
All right. This comment here by Isabel. There's way more vet clinics than there were 40 years ago. So
wouldn't surprise me a bit.
All right. Okay, well, it's 10:30. I think we're going to wrap this up. I'm getting tired. So I'm still a little, not that I flew, but jet lagged from my vacation. So I'm ready to take a shower and hit the hay here.
I'm still
And,
wound up.
Are you wound up? Well, we can talk about anything here. Anything you want.
Well,
Yeah.
I
It's
hadn't
just-
drank coffee since Thursday.
Oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
I haven't had anything. I just make me up I heat up water and I have salt water mixed with a little bit of beef bone broth. Tastes pretty good. Now over the weekend, I was pretty sluggish, because I get only had 2 cups, but I don't know how much caffeine's in one, and a 10-ounce mug of coffee. I had 2 cups, and so today I'm starting to feel a lot better. But
That's good.
like the whole weekend, I was sluggish. I didn't want to do anything, waiting for a call for work, but no calls. But like Sunday morning, I got up at 5. Next thing I know, I fell back to sleep in my chair. It was noon. I'm like, wow.
Now so I quit coffee in 2019, and the first weekend was rough. So I woke up on a Friday morning and decided I'm not going to touch coffee because I had a hunch that it was causing issues with my ulcerative colitis at the time. And I had a massive headache. So I had a religious event to go to in the morning, and I had a massive headache all day long. I had to go down to first aid and get some pain reliever. And I was cranky. I was able to function, but I didn't have a lot to do besides sit there and listen. So, and Saturday and Sunday came by, and those days were much easier. And then I just honestly, I never picked up a cup again. Now, I still depended on something hot and caffeinated in the morning. So I switched to tea, and my ulcerative colitis symptoms went away, and the tea was fine. It didn't bother me. So I started having a cup of tea every morning, or a couple cups of tea. Now, since becoming carnivore, I don't feel like I need tea. If I wake up and I have to be somewhere and I don't have time to fix a cup or enjoy a cup of tea, it doesn't bother me. I can get up and go. And not having the tea or not having that early morning caffeine doesn't make one iota of a difference. So that's one of those small non-scale victories from the lifestyle, is not needing coffee. So I think my recommendation is to continue to not drink coffee. And if you haven't had any since Thursday, man, you're almost there. You're almost there.
I did this before when in the early days of Carnivore, and I even did a video on it, but then I went back to coffee. But this time I just finished up the coffee and didn't buy anymore. And I'm like, I want to get off of it and I want to see how it is. And so far I've really enjoyed the bone broth with the hot water and salt, and it tastes really good. And I don't really miss the coffee. And I think when I did it before, it's like, I don't think it's a coffee I miss. It's having something hot to drink is what I miss. And
I have a friend.
That's why I did that.
Yeah.
I boil up some water in the morning and pour it in my cup, and with that bone broth, I'm like, this hit perfect.
I have a friend who has hot water every morning. They pour a cup of hot water and they just drink hot water. They don't want the coffee, but they like to have that hot drink.
Yeah, I've got a mixture of both of y'all's. I did the same thing, with coffee. I went to tea. And in my case, I just lost the taste for coffee. So I went to tea because I still wanted that caffeine in the morning. I wanted something milder on my body. And after a year of tea, I just said, I'm through with this. I want to cut caffeine out completely. So I cut caffeine out. And I don't miss it a bit. I'm just amazed how I wake up in the morning, and I can be tired and whatnot, but I don't feel this need that I have to drink something to get energized. And I did when I quit tea. I was drinking bone broth in the morning, and I would blend it with butter, coconut oil, whatever, or MCT oil, and it tasted good. And I got to where, just one a day, but we were going through a lot of bone broth. So I cut back on that too. And so I don't drink anything now, but I do believe I'm back to getting caffeine again because I am drinking this cacao, for blood clots. and so there's caffeine in that, but I'm not feeling it. I'm sure that there's caffeine in it, but it doesn't seem to affect me. I forget to take it sometimes. I have been enjoying heating some up and making it like a hot mug of it in the morning. But like today, I got up, got busy. I've been busy all day. And when I finally sat down to have a meal, it was about 4:30 in the afternoon, 4:30 in the afternoon when I sat down and had a meal. And I thought, after I finished the meal, I thought, man, I haven't had any cacao today. So it's not like if there's caffeine in it, it's not like my body's craving it or anything.
Now, time to time, and I've been doing this for a while. I'll go to McDonald's and I'll get a their medium size, not the large, but a medium size unsweet tea now and then. Other than that, it don't even affect me. But like the coffee, I noticing that the coffee, after a while, I was like, you know what? I want to try this coffee and see how. And I also noticing a difference where I don't feel like I feel like my heart was, you can feel your heart. I don't even feel that now. So it's getting a lot better.
I still drink tea and iced tea. So yeah.
And giving up caffeine is a good thing. Your family has a history of atrial fibrillation. So eliminating a stimulant like that is a good thing for you.
Latra says the AM is a good time to drink some water with electrolytes. Yeah, get your day started. Yep, because you wake up dehydrated. So it's a good thing to do. Is first thing you wake up is drink a 16 ounces of water.
I'll probably starting tomorrow because I'm like, I need electrolytes today because I got sick of our lawn care company not pulling weeds and stuff. And I started pulling weeds and I'm like, I need some electrolytes, and I didn't have none in my bag. I'm like, I got to make sure I carry those with me. So I think I'm going to start my day out tomorrow, putting a packet of the raw element in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to take some today because my blood pressure dropped on me when I was out there working in the heat. I had to get some in me.
Cutler says, when my current bag of coffee beans runs out, I'm stopping coffee for 90 days as an Eden equals 1. All right.
Good for you.
Go for it. I don't
think you'll regret it.
I want to hear how it goes. You can do it. Excellent.
And then my mom, it says, I'm done eating bread. She said, because she says, I want to go full low carb.
Mm-hmm.
And because she's a pre-diabetic. And so I got her because I tried the Poffles. I had a video on it because I was in the accepted challenge. So I did a video. So I tried that last week and I'm like, I like these better than the Choffles. I don't care for the cheese in it anymore. So I got my mom hooked on those. So she starts making them.
I've been eating them things for years just because, I got to the point I needed to cut out dairy because I wasn't losing weight, and I wanted to lose weight, even though I was in it for the health. You got to admit, okay, you're in it for the health, but when you see the weight coming off, you're like, hey, I kind of like this. Let's keep this little trick going, And so I was getting into the weight loss myself, and dairy was stalling me out something fierce. And
yesterday,
the
kids,
I was eating and making a lot of chaffles back then, and I said, well, what can I do, to change this up?
Yeah, yesterday the kids wanted some ice cream because they're not carnivore, and so I'm like, you know what? I might make me some Kiltz's ice cream. I used to do it with the full recipe, so I'm like, I want to have a sweet treat, so I made me some Kiltz's ice cream. But I'm like, you know what? I hadn't had a lot of dairy the last month, and I'm like, you know what? I'm satisfied with this. I'm good. I don't need no more.
Yeah. The only dairy I've had this week is when I made my meatballs. And for my meatballs, I use my smoked meatloaf recipe. Only I'll make meatballs and I'll stick them in the air fryer. And I decided to make a steak sauce to go with them. Normally I'll just eat them plain, but Maria Emmerich's steak sauce just sounded really good, so I went ahead and made that. And if if you ever want a good sauce, it's good for pork, just dipping in pork rinds. It's good for meatballs. It's good on steak. I don't care what you put on. This stuff is delicious, and it's the recipe I got from her. But what it is a cup of unsalted butter, and you make brown butter. That's your base, and when your butter is brown and it's foamy, you add in a package of cream cheese. And I did find some good, clean cream cheese at Walmart. You add in your cream cheese, you get that mixed up as good as you can. And then you add, I forget how much, a half a cup of bone broth. And mix that up. And then you put in some truffle salt into it. And you put that into taste. Take all that while it's still good and warm, and you put it in a blender, or use a stick blender, whatever, and break it all up and get it good and smooth. And I'm going to tell you what, I mean, you're talking about, other than the little bit of truffle that's in that salt, you're talking about nothing but pure protein right there, and it's good. It's great for dipping your meatballs in or just using it as a dip for your pork rinds. Look that one up, Kelly. Look up Maria Amber's.
I'll have to look that one up. I
think she calls it the best steak sauce ever, is what she calls it.
Yeah, because I'm glad that Walmart sells that. I can't remember, it's Good Stuff or something like that.
Good something, yeah. And you look at it, and it's better than Philadelphia.
Oh yeah,
sure is.
As a matter of fact, I went to the natural grocery store because I wanted some cream cheese, because I remember last month I had some left over from the Pacemaker Pizza Challenge, and I put it in my ground beef, and I had with the ground beef and the fat, and I'm like, this is like, and it's just this, the cream cheese and the salt. I'm like, this is like having beef stroganoff.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is pretty good. I'm like, yeah. So I wanted some of that last Friday at work, so I went to Natural Grocers, and I had to find it because even their best brand they had some stuff in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you can eat like cream cheese and whatnot, it makes for a good roll up. There's a guy, I won't mention his name, but there's a guy over in Kiltz's Tribe that he lives up in Canada. He works for Wally World. And basically what he eats nearly every day is he gets the deli roast beef. How good or bad that is, I don't know. But he gets the deli roast beef, and he gets cream cheese, and he'll spread it on that roast beef, and roll it up and eat it like that. And, ain't nothing wrong with that. I've done that with deli roast beef before, where I've just spread butter on it and roll it up, with a little bit of salt, roll it up and ate it like that. That's good too.
That's a good idea, especially for a hot day. You don't feel like cooking anything. That'd be good. Something where I have my first meal of the day, instead of firing up the air fryer at work, I may just do that instead.
Yeah.
Have that in pork rinds.
I think I read somewhere long time ago on that keto forum that we were on, Bob. Somebody was talking about putting cream cheese on their bacon, and I tried that, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, I can see where that would be good.
Yeah,
sounds good.
But once again, this goes back to: can you tolerate dairy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want that in your diet? Does it cause weight gain on you? Does it cause you to stall out if you're trying to lose weight? So it's like everything else. You've got to fit. You got to fit what you eat to your body, to your diet, to what your needs are.
I treat it as a condiment and a treat every now and then instead of having every day. I got to where when they did this fat coffee, I got to where I was putting heavy cream in my coffee, both cups, and then butter, sometimes the raw egg. And then I would have, when I have cheese, I couldn't stop eating the cheese. And so like in the beginning, it was okay because I lost the weight. But as you go by, your body has changed. And mine says, nope, I'm going to store fat.
Yeah. Well, for me and like so many others, generally, if you look at what somebody's eating and they're talking about they've stalled out, they can't lose any weight, and you check out what they're eating, there's always dairy in there. And so you've got to take that into consideration, and cut it out. I know I did. It's what was causing me to stall out every time. And dairy is addicting. Those cases of morphine, that will get to you. It's very addictive. And so I try to eat it, if I'm going to eat it, maybe once a week. I have a little bit, like you said, treat it as a condiment, or in this case, it's a sauce for me. And I made that sauce 2 days ago, and today was the first time I even had any. My wife's been the one eating on it. I was going to eat those meatballs, and I just wanted to dip them in them meatballs. I probably won't eat any tomorrow. But yeah, I'm one of these cheese hogs. I can sit down with a whole brick of cheese and eat it like a meal. Not good for you.
Let's see here. Latro says, encountered at H-E-B Grocery, smoked butter, $5 a stick. I think I've ever heard of smoked butter.
Haven't either.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious. So now that you said you found it at H-E-B, I'm going to have to go look. H-E-B is a Texas store. The H-E-B stands for Howard E. Butts. Started down in Corpus Christi, Texas. And it is in South Texas. It is the go-to grocery store. They got everything. It's all good. And a lot of it is local. If their product says H-E-B on it, a store brand, it generally came locally. And they've got excellent products. Don't care for the Butts' politics, but their stores are great. And we just started getting them up here in my area of Texas. They're slowly coming up this way. I've missed them. I really have. We've just gotten H-E-B up here in the last 5 or 6 years now. But I know, being from San Antonio, that was the go-to store.
Wave, Rick. Okay. All right. There's Rick.
About time you joined us.
We
lost him.
Device is not connected. All right, maybe he'll try and come back. That's he's still on my screen at the bottom, but it says device not connected. So it looks like he got up to move and bumped something.
Yeah, I'm sure it was Milton's fault.
Manic from the Philippines, milk versus fruit. I choose milk all day, but it's expensive in my place. Unfortunately, I make kefir out of it.
Okay, you got me intrigued. How do you make kefir?
Yeah,
I want to know. Inquiring minds. I make my own yogurt, or did. I quit making it because it was too doggone addictive to me, because it's better than anything I can buy in the store.
That's why I haven't made it yet, because I figure I'd get addicted to it.
Brother, it is so good. I can eat it like a half gallon of it in one sitting with no problem. It is so good.
We can't see you. Can you hear us, Rick? No. All right. I'm gonna remove you until I see some video. How's that? I don't see. Okay, he removed himself. Okay. I made $600 selling kefir grains in Facebook Marketplace. Well, hey, that's okay. Business is business.
Grains.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I don't know either. There might be a language barrier.
He says it's basically illegal. Don't confess it on live YouTube. Come on, man.
All you got to do now is click
Only
the link and show us your face. All right.
I still want to know how to make it. I can't. That's something I haven't come across in the stores around here. Anything I've come across that says that looks like it's kefir, you know, you look at the labels and it's just nothing but sugar, just full of junk. You know,
I can get it
kefir.
now. Kefir in the store, yeah, it's just all full of sugar. Now, there's a little grocery store called Natural Grocers in Columbia, Missouri, where I sometimes shop. That's where I get my pickles because that's my favorite pickles they have there. Now, they have plain kefir, and I had got it before. It's not too bad. But the rest of it,
I'd like to try it. Now, when I was working over in South Korea, they had a drink, and it came in a small bottle. I mean, it was like a shot, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was like a very thin yogurt. You know, tasted like a thin but strong tasting yogurt, and they would drink it every day, every morning. That was like a morning shot to get that in there. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was some kind of kefir or if it was just some kind of liquid yogurt, but it was pretty tasty. But I'm sure what I was drinking probably at that time had sugar in it. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, once again, tell us how you make the kefir, guys. Because I can go out and milk my own goats right here, right now. I can get raw milk. I can get goat's milk right this second. I got lactating goats right now.
Let's ask AI. AI is my new buddy, by the way. I actually love it. Making
the kefir that I got, it tasted just like the Greek yogurt or that yogurt that you made, pretty much, and it was pretty good. It was too addicting.
Yeah, and I'm afraid if I try it, I'm going to find the same thing, that it's addictive.
So there are such things as kefir grains.
What are they?
What you need is kefir grains, preferred for ongoing batches from a reliable source like Cultures for Health or a trusted seller. Use a kefir starter powder for the first batch. Whole milk works best. Use pasteurized but not ultra pasteurized milk. That's, of course, I got to say that. Raw milk can work if you're comfortable with it. All right. Avoid ultra pasteurized as it often fails to ferment.
So is the grains what contains the bacteria?
Probably says, yeah, because it says activate/prepare grains.
Yeah, because when you make yogurt, we don't call it grains, you know, but you have a yeast or a bacteria that you have to ferment first. And, you know, you have to build this culture. It's kind of like making sourdough bread. You got to build this culture up first. And then you can use that culture to make your first batch, and it'll be a weaker batch, but you save a little bit out of each batch. It doesn't have to be much. I would save, about a quarter of a cup or less. And you use that for your next batch. And as you continue to make it, it gets stronger and stronger. Yeah, it's kefir grains are the filtered cottage cheese-like clumps in the kefir. Okay. But that's what you're using for your culture.
Yeah, it says activate the grains, let sit for 24 hours at room temperature, strain, discard the initial milk, mix the grains in a clear jar, add 1 to 4 cups of milk. More grains equals faster fermentation. Leave some headspace. Gently stir with a non-metal spoon. Ferment by covering with a loose cloth secured by a rubber band. Set at room temperature for 18 to 24 hours.
Oh, so you don't even do it like yogurt. Yogurt, you bring it up to a specific temperature, and you ferment it at a specific temperature for, you know, whatever you want.
Yeah, warmer temps speed it up, cooler temps slow it down. Pour through a strainer into a clean container. The grains stay behind. Separate them. They are rubbery and cauliflower-like. The liquid is your kefir. You refrigerate that. It can last 1 to 2 weeks, and then you start a new batch with the grains immediately, or store them in fresh milk in the fridge.
Cool.
So, interesting. Rick says the USB ports on his computer have failed. Ooh. Are they built into the computer, or was that like a USB dongle, that you just need to replace? So, all right. Well, that's too bad. Nothing more frustrating than your electronics failing.
I got dongles.
Yeah.
I only needed one, but I couldn't find anything less than 3 to a package.
All right. Very good. Well, that's 11. I think I'm good. How about you guys?
Yeah,
I'm good with that because it's about my bedtime.
I got to go study how to make kefir grains.
Okay.
And I got to also I got to set up for my live for this coming Sunday since I'm not on call now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good night, Cutler. It's a pleasure having you here as always. And everyone else, Rick, have a good night. Thanks for trying to join us on screen. Thanks for everyone who did join us on screen. We really appreciate it. In regards to our theme, remember, don't beat yourself up. Just get back on track. Consistency over the long run is what matters, and so does forgiving yourself when accidents happen. So it's not the end of the world. And we're not telling you to go out and eat a bunch of sweet oils and fruit, although I spent part of the evening saying like these ain't going to kill you, they are trying to kill you if you eat them in excess. So continue your successful efforts when it comes to carnivore, animal-based, keto, ketovore, paleo, whichever area of that spectrum you're on. Keep doing what you're doing. Look for ways to improve. We're here to support, encourage one another, and we look forward to doing that again next week. So have a good night from everybody else here. We love you all. Take care.
Good night, y'all. We appreciate you.
Night, everyone.